Oh, hey bitch. Oh, excuse you. Baloney wash. I'm annoyed. I'm just here to give my opinion and carry Annie. Oh, it's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch. Hey y'all, welcome and happy Tuesday. It's your boy Chris Avalon, and welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, a show we basically talk about all things going on in celebrity news, pop culture, and hot topics. So that's a thing for you. Basically, stick around because we have a lot of tea to spill today, including let's go down some of these, excuse me, some of these headlines, including we got some Diddy news. They revealed who all the freak off, performers were, including one of them was a part of a reality show where he's in jail for killing somebody. So we're going to get into that. Yeah, it gets messy. So we're going to talk about that. Misa Hylton is reacting to the backlash for appearing at Diddy's trial, saying that she is a mother before anything else. She was there for her son, Justin. So, haters stand down. Aubrey O'Day is calling Diddy selfish for having his kids present during the trial where they were spilling all this graphic tea that's been going on in the testimony. We got to talk about Megan Thee Stallion is clapping back at Tory Lanez and a lot of his incel ass, followers, saying leave her the hell alone because he's running around here talking about he got new evidence that's going to prove his innocence and things of that nature. Skai Jackson's another one, I guess. Her, Keke Palmer, and Haley Bailey need to start a reality show together because she the latest one talking about her baby daddy been putting paws on her and she's starting up a little restraining order situation. So we're going to get into that. Salt-N-Pepa is suing Universal Music Group for $1 million. They've decided to hold their music hostage until this whole situation works out, or I guess they're at a stalemate. So we're going to get into that mess. Plus, there were some scholars, I think I'm going to probably merge them together. There were some scholars who basically spoke about speaking of Universal Music Group, the drama that's going on between them and Drake, and saying that this whole Drake thing is going to open up a whole can of worms. So I'm going to break that down too. For Lopez is being sued. So we're going to get into that because apparently she posted some pictures of herself that she doesn't own the rights to. So I know it's going to be crazy, but we'll break that down. Wendy Williams is in the news. Yesterday, a documentary premiered on the ID channel and is breaking on down why she has been put in this concern. Well, she's been in lockdown because she did something she wasn't supposed to do on her 60th birthday. So break that down. Speaking of Keke Palmer, she's talking about living below her means and saying that, yeah, if I got $1 million in my account, my apartment is going to be $1,500. The rent. So we're going to get into that, my overall thoughts on that. I did bring back the Lorde story that I got red for not bringing up yesterday because I did cut it, but I brought it back today. Shout out to Onyx because she basically is being called out because she said the Pamela Anderson and Tommy Lee sex tape was beautiful. So we're going to get into that. Pedro Pascal's urging the Americans to fight back and saying that F these people that make you feel scared about what's going on in our country. They're, with these bullies and things. There's a rapper I never heard of, but this story was so damn juicy. I was like, we need to bring it up. So apparently there was a rapper named BossMan DLow who slid up in an OF content creator's DMs, a male one, and the male OF content creator decided to take the screenshots of the DMs, post it on social media, trying to out him for sliding up in the DMs and trying to get some net. So we're going to get up in that. Plus, we have some sad news because apparently we just found out this morning, shout out to Shishi LaRue, Colton Ford is another one of the adult film stars who I just heard passed away. We'll get into that and the whole situation. I know probably a lot of people haven't heard about that story yet, or that some people are just now hearing about it. But yeah, we lost another adult film star. So we're going to get into that and a whole lot more. But before we get to those topics, if you can please do me a solid, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Also be sure to smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I'll also be putting timestamps in the show once the live stream is done. If you've ever paid attention when you watch the playbacks, you know I do this. There's like a thing I do now. Well, I have to do it now. So that way people who are new to the channel or whatever, whoever are watchers, will go and just click on the topics they want to hand instead of just sitting through all the banter we do through the live feed. All right, so now let me hit my banner. And without further ado, there is a story I want to get into before we get to all the heavy Diddy mess. And that'd be this story. There's a story going around that apparently Brandy and Monica are about to head out on a joint tour which I am here for. And the word on the curb is they're about to add Kelly Rowland and Money Long to the docket and head out on this tour. Now, if this happens, I really hope it is an arena tour and they come to the Garden, because this is definitely something that I would love to see these two girls, because there's been history between them. They did the Boys Mob where they both got their first, I think they're their only Grammys. And then there was some drama between them that it was like Brandy act like her ish didn't stink. Monica basically smacked her, and but they managed to work this whole situation out. But I would love to see a joint tour. There's a little trepidation I would have, but I'm gonna get into that in a minute. But according to the R&B streets, well, that would be Rob Milton tweeted a screenshot of Ticketmaster revealing Brandy and Monica's The Boy Is Mine tour, slated to head to a city near you this fall. The tour will reportedly be in North Carolina on November 13th, with ticket pre-sales beginning on May 28th at 10 a.m. Well, if that's about to happen, can y'all reveal that soon? Because today is May 20th. So you might want to start letting people know when this is about to go down. So yeah, now they said, although at the time of this article's publication, shout out to Vibe for this story, because this is where I got this from, the event had been removed from Ticketmaster. It was mentioned that the lineup would feature Kelly Rowland and Money Long. We've also seen tour dates for October 18th in Chicago and October 16th in Cincinnati, Ohio, when searching for the rumored tour. Well, I definitely would I'm like, can y'all put that back up so we can see the New York dates? So yeah, there's a screenshot. That's the one for Charlotte, North Carolina, and then Chicago, Illinois. And then there's this one at the Spectrum Center in Charlotte, North Carolina. So those are the dates so far. And I'm hoping that this tour actually turned out to be true. But then, yes, but just to let you guys know, none of the women have confirmed these rumors. And it was probably put up way too early, and it was taken down. Kind of like with Madonna with the whole bedtime stories situation that she's supposed to be releasing. I saw the post was up, and now they pulled it down. And it's like, when this is the time that y'all need to use social media as a way to start promoting your things and getting it out there, because based off of when I posted this article, a lot of people said that they definitely want this tour. It's like, we love Brandy. Well, I'll say for me, I love me some Brandy. I like Monica. I like Brandy more than Monica, but I get the whole situation. And I don't know, I'm not all excited about Monica, because I actually worked Nicki Minaj's Pink Friday 2 tour when Monica was the opener, and it wasn't just me, but a lot of people there were kind of like, when it came to Monica's performance and stuff on stage. First of all, it didn't fit in what Nicki Minaj was doing, so I thought it was an odd choice. But then number two, when Monica was up there performing her songs, them songs really wasn't grabbing me, kind of like what Brandy does. Like, I love when Brandy get up there with her live band and she be up in there doing her little runs and the vocal, chips and all the other stuff that she does. So Brandy is going to give you a show. Brandy is going to give you vocals. She is the vocal Bible. I don't care what nobody says, but that is what she's been anointed with. So we're going to go with it. And I definitely love to see these girls perform. And you know what? I live for Kelly Rowland. For her to get up there and do her R&B hits, Motivation, and all those other songs, excuse me, but also the dance tracks that she did when she was, Miss EDM girl. And I've always said that one of the things I don't understand, and I really wish, and I felt like this was a missed opportunity for Kelly Rowland, but maybe it was the label that was doing all of this. But I always saw Kelly Rowland as my generation's Donna Summer. She should have got up there and kind of just got in that whole EDM dance music bag. She had the vocals. She was definitely given what needs to be given. I love that she was experimental with her sound and playing around with her voice and stuff. And I felt like she should have stuck with that more instead of doing the typical R&B girl stuff, because it really didn't differentiate her. And I felt like that was the one thing that made her stand out amongst a lot of the R&B girls. And not only that, but it was something completely different that she was doing that Beyonce wasn't, because Beyonce was over there doing the pop girl type stuff and experimenting with her sounds and all of that. But Kelly doing the international EDM style music, I feel like that helped her stand out in a way. So I like Kelly Rowland being a part of this, if this turns out to be true. And Money Long, okay, that's cute or whatever. I'm glad that Money Long got herself a little gig or whatever. But they also said that since a private conversation between Monica and Brandy hasn't happened, the So Gone singer asked the One Wish crooner. Oh, I said One Wish crooner. Oh, they talking about Ray J, messy behind. Because I do remember that Monica at one point had to get into his behind, because He kept asserting himself in things that had nothing to do with him, but that's always kind of been Ray J's MO. Brandy was the one with the talent and the fame and the A-list status, and Ray J was just, latching on to her coattail and decided, okay, I need to be the bad boy. I need to be I need to be I need to take a page out of Bobby Brown handbook and be the bad boy, but he ain't had the songs to kind of put him in that place. So I had to go into reality TV and and be all messy and then be the Zeus, queen, and doing stuff with Kim Kardashian, which got him, a little fame-ish. She got fame-ish off of it, and he got a little boost. And then he was doing his little things with loving hip hop and being a mess out here in these streets and all over social media and trying to create the. Does he still have Dosh? Like, what's going on with that? Is that the He was trying to come out with his own Zeus-esque network that I don't know nobody was watching, and then try to do his own version of baddies with trans girls. I don't know. I don't think that thing is still around. But anyway, so yeah, then Monica had to go in on him and say, stop fanning the flames between Brandy and Monica and a whole bunch of other stuff. And then they said that July something clearly transpired behind closed doors because Brandy told actresses, I hit Monica up so much talking about all the things that we could do together, tour, residency, everything. I really want that, Monica. I really want that. When they joined forces for Grande's The Boy Is Mine, Brandy said that it was magical. She said, the energy between me and Monica was so beautiful. I loved working with her this time. It was so great for Ariana to call us up and to be part of it. She didn't have to do that. She didn't take anything from the original. She created a whole new song. So to call us and pay homage in that way was just a blessing. And one of the things I will say is that I'm like, okay, the song that Ariana did, but the boy, her iteration of The Boy Is Mine, ain't particularly good for it, but I will say this. I will give her props because she took a song that she was inspired by and made a completely new song around it, and then felt, let me incorporate Brandy and Monica in it because it's an homage. It's basically like my interpretation. And those are the songs that I like, is when you could take something that somebody else did before and make it your own, which is what she did, similar to what Whitney Houston did with I Will Always Love You. Her version of I Will Always Love You is completely different than what Dolly Parton brought to the song, because it is a Dolly Parton song. So I definitely like this whole situation. While yes, it is not confirmed, I will say this: I'm really hoping this turns out to be true. And if it does turn out to be true, be it arena tour, they'll see how well that does, and then if all goes well, that they could branch this out into a uh residency. But I honestly think do the arena tour, because I don't know. Vegas is a little shaky right now. Tourism and stuff is down due to this current idiotic administration. So just do the arena tour. You definitely have fans out there that would love to see you two girls. On top of that, Money Long, it probably would push her out to a much bigger audience. And Kelly Rowland has her her fan base as well. So seeing all these girls on tour, the only thing I definitely am wondering, how will they differentiate? Because like if you're doing headline, like a co-headlines could be a little tricky at times and a little messy. So I do think like there should be some days with Brandy headlines, there should be some days with Monica headlines, and they switch off. So I would definitely love to see that. But I also, one of the definite things I would love to do is hear from you all. So what do you think of this story? Do you believe that there is a possibility that Brandy and Monica are planning The Boy Is Mine joint tour with Kelly Rowland and Money Long? Um, I definitely am here for it. I would love to see. Wait a minute, isn't Money Long the one that used to write back behind the scenes for Ariana Grande and had that little drama with her record label? I almost forgot, because sometimes I'll be getting the girls confused. But I'm like, wait, Money Long, yeah, that would be perfect, especially, with the things that Money Long been dealing with in this industry and how they've been treating her. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. All right, let me scroll on down. Robert's in the building. Two things. It hasn't been a week, and Blake Lively's CIA friend was able to erase the Taylor Swift extortion blackmail from the media. And a good question was actually asked: who did Diddy do wrong? Child, I'm about sick of Blake Lively for everything to unravel and bring us where we are today. Still mermaids in the building. Yes, he did. I found out this morning. Well, we'll get into what he passed away from because I believe that it's already out there. What it was when I wrote the article, there was no report on what it was. Apparently, it was like a hiking accident or something or another. It said, "Thank you for bringing back the Lorde." Okay, it's a Never Say Never. It's class. Yes, it is. I love that record. It's a 90mm R&B album up there with Britney Spears and Maya. I love Monica's After the Storm album, but I lost almost every Brandy album. Oh, you said I love almost every Brandy album before 2010. Yeah, it was like once she started getting into her independent bag, the music really wasn't giving what it was anymore. I even love Aphrodisiac. A lot of people sleep on that record, but I love Aphrodisiac. That was like when she started working with Timbaland. See, Madonna, that's how you work with Timbaland. You know, I love Madonna, but I had no shade because her song, her production, her work with Timbaland on Hard Candy, I felt, in my opinion, was her weakest work. She should have just did it with Pharrell. I really wish that she would have did that whole album with Pharrell. I really feel like that album would really she would have excelled a lot more if she worked with him instead of Timbaland. Timbaland's music sounded a little dated by then, but when Brandy worked with him on Aphrodisiac, I was like, okay, this album is giving me what I need. I definitely need, but I don't know, maybe I don't think they're in the best of terms still. I definitely need Brandy to get back together with Dark Child because when they was together, that's when their music was just like, that was her Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. That was, yeah, Janet is the Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. That was her, Lady Gaga to Red One. Now that to me is like when y'all get with that specific producer that knows you and knows how to pull the best out of you, and that's when it was like that's when Brandy created her best work. Or when Katy Perry was with Dr. Luke or Dr. Puke, as we like to call him. But anyway, Magical Mermaids in the building. You said that damn Monica fan saying she's a bet. Yeah. Okay. I just want to ask why. I guess she's more street than Brent. Yeah, I always say that Brent, and people get mad when I say this. I said Brent, Monica is of the chitlin circuit. She ain't never moved beyond that. It's kind of like no shade. It's kind of like when Mary J. Blige. Mary J. Blige to me could have been that girl who could have went more adult contemporary, but her music doesn't excel beyond a certain fan base. She can't. I don't think that Mary J. Blige can go overseas and sell out a stadium or an arena or whatever off of her music. She could do it in the United States, but I can't see her doing that outside the US. So yeah, her music is very much like to a specific audience. So I guess she's more street than Brandy, but just because you can relate to, I think you meant wasn't it Gunica? Because I remember that was her name, is that she was that she went by Gunica at one point, and she was like, oh yeah, I'm a turn up whenever she get mad. It's an even more. The voice is mine, says Auto. Full Moon is on. Oh, I do love Full Moon too. It said Full Moon is my personal fave. Never Say Never is the vocal Bible. Brandy's debut inspired Britney's Aphrodisiac is an underrated masterpiece. It sure is. I do love her debut album though. I remember, look, the what got me into Brandy is, and I probably wouldn't have gotten into her if I wasn't watching Thea. So that was the show that I first was introduced Brandy into. Well, I was like in my sitcom bag at that time, and any black sitcom that was on, Chris was watching. So, um, when that show came on and Brandy was on it, that was when I first heard of her. And I remember there was an episode that she did, and I think Ray J did an episode of that show. Ray J always got latched on to everything Brandy was doing, apparently, even back when they was kids. So I think he appeared on the episode, and there was an episode where the family was singing, and Brandy got up there and did a song. I was like, oh, I didn't know she could sing. And then all of a sudden she had the record deal. And I was like, okay, because of that episode, that was like, let me get into Brandy's music. And then I started listening to her, and then she was promoted all over MTV and stuff. And I was like, okay. When I first heard I Want to Be Down, I was like, yes. I had to get me, that's when I got into Brandy. Ever since then, I love me some B Rocker. I remember that Dodgeville Bad Trans Girls Club show. I think Ray J also sells wireless headphones. Is he another one that's kind of like Donald Trump, that everything that he tried to grift and promote as something failed? Like he's never really like, got people to buy his things. It's like he put out stuff He said the boy is one of my favorite 90s. The verses they did together. Oh yeah, the verses. Yeah, I'm glad they got rid of verses. Verses was a mess. Wait a minute. Speaking of which, didn't they tell me they was bringing verses back? What happened? I think it was supposed to happen on. Oh, it was supposed to happen on Twitter, and then Elon Musk started crashing out and being a Nazi. So I don't know. I don't think it still happened. But yeah, they. I remember that Timbaland and who's the other one that was a part of that? They sold the rights or whatever, and then or they had the rights and they put it on Twitter. I almost forgot about it till you mentioned verses. Money Long used to be known as Priscilla. Oh yeah. It was like she did work with a lot of artists. Yeah, she worked with a lot of artists behind the scenes. And I was like, yeah, I remember Money Long. I almost forgot who she was. Her last album was okay. Yeah, that's the problem. Brandy don't still have that. But her old stuff still slaps. Last album with Dog Child was 2008. Okay, let's be clear. Human was a snooze fest. That was like she was trying to show her maturity, but I'm like, you can still put a little oops oops behind it. Adult Contemporary has lost its audience, though the last two, yeah, Adult Contemporary has gotten a little boring. Or maybe they need to rejudge what Adult Contemporary means. I liked her song Borderline. In the pattern room, To Be Shade and Monica advertising they have Moesha saying, does Monica have a black No, because Monica wasn't really out here doing TV. She was singing. Brandy was, acting, singing, doing the branding and all that other stuff. She was more of like the crossover artist. Brandy stuff. I mean, Monica stuck with the music. Baby was my song too. Yeah, 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 yeah. Brandy and Monica helped open the doors for the Britneys and Christinas. Absolutely. Because they always got to create their white version. Ray J can F off after being friend. Ray J's a whole damn clown. Don't nobody take that fool seriously. Monica had a reality show. Because every time he would get into a fight, he always act like he was going to dig up in his bag or something. I'm like, you ain't got shit in that damn bag. Oh, yeah, I forgot his shit. What's doing like BET or one of them channels? Anyway, yeah, let's get into this mess. Let's talk about the diddler. Because apparently, I woke up this morning and all of a sudden I'm starting to see like I was getting sent all this stuff, particularly apparently, the freak offs, the male performers who were hired to freak off at the freak offs, their photos have been released because they've been showing them in court and all this other stuff. So they released the photos and things. Now what gagged me, because I was like, in addition to Jonathan Odie, who we talked about, was the guy who was in jail who threatened to cause a little pow pow situation at Mar-a-Lago. We talked about him already, but one of them that had me clutching my pearls was that one of the performers did a reality show back in the day that I used to watch on Showtime called um Gigolos. And what I didn't even know this because after Gigolos, I ain't watched that show in years. I didn't even know it went off in like a while back. I think it was like 2018 or something or another. But anyway, so one of the models that was, or one of the Gigolos that was on Gigolos, apparently is in jail for unaliving one of his clients. And they said it was in the motion of some passionate sex, and they were doing drugs. They said they were doing mushrooms or whatever the case. But anyway, let me get to the story because actually, let me pull up. Shout out to the neighborhood talk because they were the ones that had the full screenshots. So yeah, there's the pictures of some of them. That's not all of them, but that's 4 out of the ones. I think it was like 10 or something on the pictures that they put up. Anyway, so now during the first week of the testimony at Diddy's sex crimes trial at Manhattan Federal Court, prosecutors showed photos of the male sex workers they claim participated in the Diddler's freak-off sex parties, and one of the escorts was a former reality star with a dark past. Now, according to prosecutors, freak-offs are elaborate and... Well, y'all going to sit up here and tell us what a damn freak-off is? We don't need to go through that. So Ventura's emotional testimony, which lasted 4 days, was filled with allegations of physical, sexual, and verbal abuse involving Combs. The singer claimed that she was made to participate in the FOs with male workers. Combs' defense has aimed to portray the goths as consensual. It's like, I gotta sit and be all because these damn algorithms. Damn you, YouTube. Y'all just working my root canal nerve with all of this. But anyway, so now they said now People confirms, and I want to give y'all a better picture of who the guy is. This guy here, I'm sure if y'all ever seen that show, Gigolos, Ash Armand, who was on the show, his real name is Akshaya Kubiak. He was on the show Gigolos, as I said before. Now, the show ran from 2011 to 2016. So, like, 10 years ago, the show was canceled or whatever. But, or I think they filmed a lot of episodes, but they stretched it out. But yeah, after a while, I moved on from Gigolos. Like I wasn't watching the show as much. But back in the day when you was watching things and it was like, oh, they doing a reality show where they got people having sex and prostituting and living up in Vegas and doing all that. I was like, oh, that caught my interest. And plus, all the guys was hot. That's why I watched it. But they looked very Vegas. Like they tanned a lot. They were in the gym. I think it was during the era of like Jersey Shore too. So it was all that Guidoism that was coming through. But anyway. He's apparently serving an 8 to 20-year prison sentence in Nevada after pleading guilty in September of 2021 to voluntary manslaughter and mayhem. They said the conviction is related to the July 2020 beating death of 29-year-old Harleen Dulai, the Las Vegas Review-Journal reported. Now, at his sentencing hearing, he claimed that he and Dulai had taken psychedelic mushrooms together and that he blacked out and had no memory of attacking her. He said, I never hit a woman in my life, and I certainly never wanted to hurt Harleen. This is what he said at his sentencing hearing. Now, Armand called the police to report her unconscious, but when officers arrived, they wrote the arrest report that Dulai was obviously deceased, the Review-Journal reported. Her official cause of death was blunt force trauma and strangulation. The case was recently revisited also how I found out about this, because I didn't even know that he was in jail and all this other stuff went down. Apparently, when I was scrolling through Paramount Plus, because I am a subscriber, they have I saw like a trailer or something when I was watching something on Paramount Plus. They played this trailer of a docuseries called Sin City Gigolo, and that came out like March of this year. So if you are interested in checking, if you have Paramount Plus or Showtime, because I don't know, it might be on Showtime if it's a part of a Showtime series, you can watch the series, the docuseries. I think it's 3 episodes on Paramount Plus. So now, in an Instagram post that was shared on Monday, May 19th, 50 Cent reposted a screenshot of People's coverage of Mon's case with the caption, "This ish is a movie. One of the sex workers caught a body." The pair's feud goes back to 50 Cent 2000. Their track, blah, 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 so on and so forth. So they talk about his feud with Diddy or whatever. I was like confused. And he said, "This ish is a movie. One of the S workers caught a body." Okay, now I get it. I don't know why it's not registered. Maybe because I haven't eaten, so now my brain is a little, mashed potatoes, and apparently I can't read today. So yeah, there's this picture. There's the other 4. Why does one at the bottom look like what the hell's his name? That queen that used to be on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, the one that had the botched nose job that showed Andy Cohen's ding-a-ling. On the episode of Watch What Happens Live. What's his name? I forgot his name. Y'all know who I'm talking about when I was on Real Housewives that was friends with Sheree and them. So, and then these are the other 4. I was like, okay, y'all had wait a minute. First of all, I just noticed something. There's 2 people that was a part of, and a couple of these was on Gigolos. This guy Jules was on there too. I remember him. So you was picking quite a few of them from there. I think there was yeah, so there's these two, and why he look like what's his name, the one that do Insanity, the gay workout guy. But yeah, I could have sworn I saw another one that was up in here too, that was a part of it. But no, it's just this guy. We know this guy. This the one that tried to pow I think Trump at Mar-a-Lago. We know this is Ash. I don't know these other people. But yeah, this one also, like I said, Jules was also on Gigolos. I remember him. So yeah, this is the latest chick. Messy. And I'm like, let me find out if Diddy was over here watching them reality shows and having some of them people from them reality show coming over here and hunching and skeeting on Cassie or skeeting up in her, and then she would have to shoot it out of her and then have him rub it on his nipples and think, yeah, that was a thing. So I say all this to say, when you guys think of this story, I'm like, this story gets crazy. I didn't even realize that, or I didn't even know that these people were a part of the freak off situation. But yeah, that's the latest. I'm sure there's more going on with the trial, but child, quiet as it's kept. I don't even care enough about this trial no more. But there's like more of the more of the juicier stuff that's been coming out as of late. That's what I'll be reporting on. But in case anything crazier that we haven't already become accustomed to comes out, I will keep you guys abreast of this story as it develops. But in the meantime, let me know what your thoughts on this particular topic in the let me know in the comments down below. You said Chris may be on Read 30. Okay. You said Felix Monica reality show was the first time I ever heard somebody say, I'm not new to this. I'm true to this. I didn't even know that came from her. He said, and I saw Robert posted that Trump and Melania were involved in parties. I would not be surprised. First of all, Diddy and not Diddy. People probably don't even know this, but Melania and because Trump trying to act like he ain't never been on he don't know Jeffrey Epstein. The first time that them two had sex was on Jeffrey Epstein's plane. So for you to sit up there and try to act, and Trump used to sleep with a lot of his millionaire friends, their wives. So and it probably was around the time of when he was married to her. So he be doing all kinds of crazy stuff. You say he hot. Yeah, he is a good looking man. I don't know. Well, damn. See, during the segment, I should have showed you his mugshot. He ain't look that good there because I had the picture. But on the show, when I saw him with all that long luxurious hair, and he's an Indian dude too. So I was like, that was another thing I liked, the fact that they had a South Asian gigolo that was on the show. And I remember him. And I was like, who was that? He had all that long, luxurious hair. He was muscular, big bodied. And then you would see like the scenes because that whenever they would always do scenes with the people. I don't know if y'all never seen the show. They always do scenes that were like it played out like a reality show, and then they would show them when these female clients would interact with them, and they did scenes where they were having sex with their clients. I don't know if these were real clients or if it was like a contrived reality show where it was kind of like it's a reality show, but they throw a little Skinamax up in it. So they were kind of like going through the motions that they were hunching, but not really. Because I'm like, it would all basically borderline on porn. So I was like, this is kind of a fascinating way that they did the show. Yeah, Sean T. I just be drawing blanks when it comes to people's names. They all messy. It makes sense that they all attract each other into their lives one way or another. Or I should be surprised that, yeah, they were going through not only, they would go through escort agencies to get some of these male models to be participating in things they get into. Escorting is a big business. All right. Where we going? Where we going? All right, let's talk about Diddy's baby mama, Misa Hylton, who is clapping back at her haters because apparently they have a problem with her showing up and I saw that Misa also got a broken foot, but she been showing up at the at the trial. And I totally get like her being a mother, she's being there for her son. Like I may not agree with what Diddy did. I may have also been a victim of Diddy's, allegedly, meaning that he put hands on her and may have abused her back in the day. Because there have been stories that have been going around that he put paws on Kim Porter. He may have put pause on Misa Hylton until she comes out and says it. Then we're just gonna have to believe otherwise and just be like, okay, maybe he didn't. But at the end of the day, I may not agree with the Diddy of it all, but I'm gonna support my kid nonetheless. And we also gonna get into what Aubrey O'Day had to say because she don't agree with the kids being there. Now I can understand Justin, Christian, even Albie Shortchild. I could understand y'all being up in there. The 3 out of the 6 kids. But the baby is not there. So I understand that. But the twins, they need to be worrying about they said they're not going to college. So I was like, yeah, I guess y'all don't have to worry about your education. I guess you're just planning on trying to create a brand or live off your debt, whatever's left of your father's money. Because are there any people out there that's going to be willing to want to work with Delilah and the other one. What's her name? I was gonna say Samson, but I was like, are they gonna work with the twins or anything? Like, I would think that yeah, if Diddy wasn't, if he was in good standing and he wasn't caught up in the situation he was caught up in, then he probably could have ushered in some brand deals for his daughters and kind of pushed them out there to be Kardashian-esque, where they have their own branding and all that other stuff. But I don't know. That Combs name is a little tainted right now, so I don't know. But anyway, so Misa has gone on, in between her suing Mary J. Blige, has got the time to go down to the courthouse to support her 31-year-old son, Justin, while he supports his 50-some-year-old father. So in an Instagram post, she said, "Yes, I'm good, everyone. I'm on my healing journey. When I suffered my injury, I had chosen to heal privately. But when my son said, 'Mommy, I need you,' I was right there for him, walker and all." So I don't know if y'all seen the picture. I do have a photo. Hold on. Misa look good though. I said, there she go, with her full-on broken foot and walking around with a walker like she an old lady. But look, that's better than walking around with some damn crutches. I don't like crutches. I remember once upon a time when I injured my foot, and that was from turning wrong when I was doing when I was working out at the gym, and I was working out at UFC, and I was working out on the bag or whatever, and I injured my foot doing that. So the crutches, I don't like that because it goes up under your arm and that's painful and stuff. So I'm like, child, give me a walker so I could be walking around here like I'm an old man. So now, sharing her support for her son, who had previously offered his own public support for his father amid the trafficking allegations, she wrote, "I am a, in caps, mother first, for real. In big caps. And I am my son's strength, and that's what it is, plain and simple." She said, "Whoever doesn't understand that is just simply isn't in alignment with me or anything that I am about in life. I'm cool with that. I have a purpose-filled life, and I live daily. I make impact. I'm not concerned with insecure people attempting to protect their insecurities, or sorry, project their insecurities on to me, ever." Now, Hylton also shared a brief message addressing the use of her walker, and and that was this picture that she was posting about here in these fruits. And she said, "To all my temporarily disabled and disabled people, don't ever be ashamed of your condition or need to use the medical tools created to assist in your healing or the way you need to move around in this world." Well, here's the thing. Why would people be upset? Like, if I'm walking around with a walker and you see me with a whole boot on my foot, I would think that people will offer you some grace in regards of you having a broken foot. Why would people make comments about that? But I guess, in this day and age, everybody out here bitching and moaning about every little thing. And that's what they like to do. It's like they just want to sit about here and people just complain to complain. So you just don't listen to the haters and just um do you. Because I totally understand, like, like I said, I may not agree with Diddy. I may not like him. He may be an asshole or whatever the case is. However, I'm going to support my son, and my son loves his father, even though me and his father is not together no more, because she was there from the beginning, meaning that's, his firstborn that they have. Well, he got kids with multiple women, but y'all already know, like, he was a Misa before all of them. And then she said, "The force used against my sons, Justin and Christian, are deplorable. If these were the sons of a non-black celebrity, they would not have been handled with the same aggression." This is what she wrote on Instagram, posted a video footage of Justin and Christian being handcuffed by Homeland Security agents. So this is around the time, when the houses got raided and Homeland Security basically moved very overzealously and she felt was overtly militarized force. So it was like they walked up in there like they was the military and basically just treated her sons like criminals. But you got to realize that just because you're a celebrity, you're not going to be treated any different. So maybe you could use that as an excuse. Because maybe there was a little extra seasoning they put on the situation where it was like, yeah, because it is your kids, that they were going to go and be a little more forceful in the situation. But however, if Homeland Security is raiding your house because y'all doing criminal activity, you can't be mad that they handcuffing your kids because they was home at the time. So everybody getting handcuffs, even the baby. Well, they don't have handcuffs that size, but you know what I'm saying. Like, everybody's getting it. She also went on to say, I'm heartbroken that Cassie must relive the horror of her abuse, and my heart goes out to her. I know exactly how she feels, and through my empathy, I was triggered. It has triggered my own trauma. So that also, because I remember at the time when I did talk about that, and I was like in the beginning when Diddy and all this mess came out, and Cassie and the lawsuit and all of that, that made people, jump to the conclusion that, oh, so Diddy must have did something to her, but she not talking about it. I mean, she could have faced abuse from other people, but then again, based off of Diddy's reputation and the many of people that he has threatened or been physically abusive with, and the stories about how he been nasty towards his mother and cussing her out and all this other stuff, and how Gene Deal had to check him because he was up here being disrespectful to his mother. I don't put nothing past the diddler. And I would not be putting anything past that he allegedly, because you're not going to sue me. As long as you say allegedly, you're protected. Just a little note for all of y'all. Allegedly proposed on Miss Misa. So I say all this to say, I do not feel any kind of negative situation regarding her going there to show up to the courthouse to protect her son. Because if I was in her situation and I was in a relationship with somebody who was a low down dirty dog like the diddler, I'm not going to go there to support him. I'm there to support my child. And it's sad that you have to, as a public figure, you got to get on social media and you have to tell people this because they're going to come off and say the stupid stuff that they say. So I say all this to say, or they're just going to troll. What do you guys think of this story in regards to what Misa Hylton's saying regarding why she's been showing up to the courthouse? And it's not for Diddy, it's for her sons, Christian and Justin. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Let me see, where am I? Where am I? You said, did they all sleep together consensually back then as a guy? How could you look at your wifey the same way after knowing she slept? Well, look, when you a mail order whore and you being taken care of by Trump, because I know that wasn't love. That was convenience. Miss Slovenia, she's a migrant. She was somebody that came over here and then they pulled strings to get her and her family green cards. So we could deport everybody else, but we ain't deport Usha, confused ass, and we ain't deport Melania. Some homosexuals would find this stuff to be normal. Okay. They damn sure would. They said, I'm still numb after the woman said, if you need an example of what Project 2025 does to a woman, look at the conservatorship of Britney Spears. She went through it lightly, but it's more extreme. Well, we're going to get into, speaking of guardianships and conservatorships, we're going to talk about Wendy Williams later on in her guardianship. Cassie didn't have any brothers, uncles, cousins, play cousins who could gather together and look. I guess it's easier said than done, but yeah, collectively they could have all gone around and whooped his behind. Kind of like what Celie said, we all sit around that table and whoop your ass. And remember everybody saw like it would in a real world, it would be great to do that. However, y'all gotta realize Diddy got a lot of money, he got a lot of power, he got a lot of influence. There was a story that I read earlier that stated that he had the absolute unlitigated gall to have Cassie's parents pay him, I believe, $20,000 because she went out with Kid Cudi. That is the latest story that came. I was like, what? Be damned if you're gonna have me dig up in my money and tell me I gotta pay you. Fuck out of here. But this is what happens when you go around and like what Dawn Rashad was saying, even though damn, Diddy attorney ate her up in that testimony. I'll give her that. But um that's one of the crazy things. Like when Dawn Rashad was saying that, you know what, he would threaten to take your life. And then it was the latest story that said that he went down to Mel's diner with a gun to go take care of Suge Knight. I'm like, and he thought he was gonna live to tell a tale. Do you not know who Suge runs with or ran with? Because he in jail now. I said, wasn't Diddy Daddy the right hand man? Yes. Wait, was he? I mean, I remember, I don't know if he was based on him, but I do remember that he had found out because his mother lied to him, apparently, that he was a notorious gangster that was down in Harlem and was pow-powed when he was a kid. So, but Oh yeah, she is, and it's funny. It's probably why he named that damn label and his whole brand Bad Boy Records, and all that other stuff. So I would not be surprised, but I'm not sure if that he was a part of the whole American gangster thing. I mean, there probably is some truth to that, but I do remember his father was a goon back in the day. Now little critters thinking Mayhem is gonna win. Child, nobody bought that album, so how they go? How's going to win album of the year? Yeah. Um, There's some good songs on Mayhem, but after a while, the album gets boring. Like we know Abracadabra's a good song. She's selling the record with this show that she's doing. But child, don't get me started on Alleges and that foolishness that he said earlier. Because I had to go in on that whole situation. I'm like, child, if you don't go sit your behind that, first of all, I didn't even know that Swiftologist was a boy. I thought that was a lesbian. But apparently that's a whole homosexual. He just give you woman when he opened that mouth. So yeah, I'm gonna play y'all the you know what, since we on here and you had to bring this damn thing up and get me started, and I knew that I knew he was gonna do that. So that's why I prepared myself. So I went and found the clip on Twitter. Let me leave that up there. I found the clip over on the Twitter and I was like, let me put it up just in case it gets brought up. So yeah, I don't know if y'all heard it, but let's hear what this heifer had to say. Please hold.
There is no other fucking pop girl doing what Lady Gaga is doing right now. I just got home from the Mayhem show in Singapore and I am stunned. That is one of the best goddamn shows I've ever seen in my entire life. This show is fucking incredible. It is less like a concert and more like an opera or a Broadway show. I was born and raised and still live in Singapore, but something that Singapore is not great about is gay rights. I think that Gaga knows exactly what she's doing when she plays a song like Born This Way in a country like Singapore. She was saying was, I see you, you're real, you exist, your life matters, and I want you to be happy, and I think that you deserve that. And it's rare in Singapore to feel a moment of like community and camaraderie like that. So to have Lady Gaga give us all permission in this moment to be free, to be happy, to be brave and proud of ourselves, that experience actually really matters when you live in a place that doesn't always believe that you have a right to exist. And that is a gift that only Lady Gaga could give me in Singapore tonight. So pause up, literally forever and fucking always. And Lady Gaga, you are in a league of your own. There is.
Okay, girl. Okay, so I'm gonna tell y'all what I said because I was like, let me just read it because if I go off script, I'm gonna start cussing. It's gonna mess up my damn demonetization, or monetization. I was like, where is that? I was trying to see if I could find it. No, not Joella, because that's what that's giving right there. Is that Joella? Is that you? I was like, where is it? I was like looking for that. Oh, yeah, that part. Now, when you see this part, right? Don't y'all think of when I was very young, nothing really mattered to me but making myself happy. I was the only. Don't y'all think of that when the damn thing opened? But anyway, here's what I said before I started losing some of y'all. Now I wrote. Normally, I like Swiftologist's commentary, but he's way off with this assessment. So, Madonna didn't set the groundwork for merging the theatrical experience into the concert experience in the 80s. Also, Madonna was the first to make homosexual men feel it was okay to be themselves at a time when it wasn't so popular to do so. I get that she was before your time and that Gaga is the Madonna of your generation. But what we're not going to do is erase history because you clear queers want to blow smoke up your fave's ass when we have Beyonce and FKA Twigs also bringing the theatrical experience and performance art into their stage shows. So I like what Gaga's doing, and I'm glad that she found something to kind of step outside of, what she normally does. I do like that she's pushing the boundaries in regards of her stage show and giving people something completely new, different, fresh, whatever the case is. But you also need to realize that Madonna did it first, and you always gonna play second best to her. And it's no shade. I'm just saying, like, for a lot of you young ones coming up in the game and saying things like no one's doing it like her, and I was like, okay, you can give people their flowers, but stop with the BS and stop with the lies and stop with all the other mess. So that kind of just irritated me when he said that. But normally I was like, I like you Swiftologist. I normally like a lot of the videos and so that you put out the commentary. It's shady as hell. It'd be definitely on point, but you was way off with this. And I get that, it was cute or whatever going on in Singapore. And I like the fact that she's, being all pro LGBT in places where they're not so pro LGBT. But Madonna was doing that back at a time when it wasn't so popular and you could have been thrown in jail for. And she was also threatened to be thrown in jail for simulating masturbation and all the other stuff in her shows back in the day when she was in Canada, I believe it was. So let's not do it. Okay, and then wait, hold on. I was like, let me get rid of that. Must be nice to get a show in Singapore. Madonna brought her Rebel Heart tour, but she was forced to edit her show, remove Iconic, Holy Water, and Devil Pray. And I know for a fact Madonna will never come back there after the government told her, yeah, if you're going to tell her that she got to edit out things on her show, she said, well, y'all just going to have to watch the DVD because one of the things I'm not going to do is edit my show. She ain't do it back in the day when they told her to stop simulating, playing with her cootie cat on stage back in the day. So she's like, I ain't doing that. They just gonna have to throw me in jail. And that's when she came down the little whatchamacallit with her, Nikki and Donna, and they were singing in solidarity, come together in every nation. Remember when they were singing Holiday? That was, I tell you, it was like, And so she also threatened arrest in Russia. Yeah, and so did Gaga. She was also talking about arrest me, but it kind of makes me wonder, were you trying to copy? Like, it just seems like every time when something feels like it should be authentically happening to you, it's already happened to someone else. And it just looks like you're copying rather than you just, doing you. She's never going to be able to escape that. It's sad. Madonna came first, no shade, just a matter of fact, but neither of them started the gay rights movement. No, they didn't start. I won't say that they started the gay rights movement because they didn't. But the fact of the matter is that Madonna was doing it at a time when, well, one of the mainstream artists, I will say, when it wasn't popular or chic to do so. Because, like, no, the gay rights movement started when, did it start around the time of Madonna was an infant when Stonewall happened? Because it was in the 50s. So there was, or was she even born yet? I'm trying to remember the exact date of, wasn't it like 1958, 1959? Let me look it up. When did the Stones, because this is going to bother me until I figure it out. When, I would have like, y'all can Google it quickly if y'all can, but I'm trying to do it. When did the Stonewall, not Stone Age, riots happen? Oh, it was 1969. So she was like 11. Or no, she was 10. Because Madonna's birthday is in August. And it was June, it happened from June 28th, 1969 to July 3rd, 1969. So so it was like a week it went on. So yeah, she was like 10 years old when the Stonewall riots happened. So yeah, she wasn't old enough. He said, we're not saying that, but she mainstreamed us in such a big way. She gave us a platform when others didn't. He said, Stonewall happened the day Judy Garland died. Yeah, everybody brings that up too. But yeah, so we're having a little queer history lesson because Pride is literally right around the corner. And it'll be interesting to see how Pride works out this year, especially with this idiotic administration. But anyway, y'all, let's move on. Get back into the show. Let's talk about Miss Aubrey, who is calling the diddler selfish. Because she's speaking out against a disgraced rapper. It was another piece of that podcast that she does with Amy Robach and TJ Holmes. I'm still like baffled as to how they got a damn podcast, but still, and who's actually listening to it. But I guess with them being a part of this whole, her being a part of it, it's going to garner interest. So yeah, she's opted out of taking the stand in the Diddler's federal trafficking trial. She's offered her opinion on his kids supporting him in person in court. Now, during a recent episode of the Amy and TJ podcast, a former Danny K member gave her unfiltered take on Diddy's children being present in court, particularly his teenage daughters, Chance, Delilah, and Jesse. Well, I didn't know he had 3 other teenage children. So does that mean he got 7 kids? Because the little Asian girl that he was the last girl he was messing with, I think she had a baby like last year or something. Their intent, she said, is less about family support and more about painting a sympathetic picture for the jury. Saying, quote, the kids are marching up to the court, praying over everything, and walking in with a bunch of women who are also encouraging it. It's concerning to me. Would you want your kids to know the freakiest night you've ever had? Because that's what this trial is putting on full display. The singer reality star also pointed out that Diddy's daughters are just a year younger than Cassie when they first started dating, adding more to the discomfort she feels watching them sit through this ordeal. She said, it's telling me it means that daddy's being selfish, and in my opinion, it feels like daddy needs you in court because daddy needs all the optics to look in his favor, and I don't really care what you have to sit through, she continued. And that to me is just showing the same narcissism and ego, and dare I say coercion, that we're discussing about this man. You know, his needs come first. What he wants comes first. Now, according to People, at one point during the trial, the daughters left the courtroom twice while the sex worker gave a graphic testimony about Diddy enjoying watching his encounters involving, you know, water sports and diddling with himself. Now, they said, I always got to get creative with the wording. Despite the intensity of the proceedings, Diddy's son's Christian adjuster reportedly remained in the courtroom. His youngest 2-year-old love with Dana Tran was not present. Yeah, what the hell is a 2-year-old going to do? Because all it's going to do is make noise. It's going to be fussing. Because everybody, who I've been watching some of the pundits and stuff, after a while I start watching them because I'm like, I really don't care to be good in all the details. Whatever. Just give me the cliff notes and let me go about my way and maybe just color in the lines. But when it comes down to it, why would a baby be in the room? Because from what people have been saying, it's like, this trial's dragging, it's boring. I'm like, it's not Law and Order, it's not Law and Order SVU. You're not getting the sensationalism and the dramatics. They're not going to zhuzh it all up in a 42-minute episode where the court case literally lasts like 10 minutes or 15, depending on how much they do with the people trying to find out the information and the cops doing what they doing and then the trial. So it's not like an episode of Law and Order SVU. So you're not going to get that. So court is boring. I've sat on a trial. I told you I was jury number 1 in a case. So it's just you're sitting there absorbing all the facts and then giving an unbiased view once you come to your conclusions about things. So now they said, aside from the stress of the trial, Delilah Starr and not Jesse James Combs, chair, attended their senior prom over the weekend, where they both donned matching red gowns and draped off their shoulders. They were all smiles and photos with their dates, who both had to carry the girls down a flight of steps due to their body-hugging dresses. And they showed that over on their Instagram, which I was like, let me pull that up for y'all real quick. And there you have it. So I was like, look, the twins, they're pretty girls. Probably tall. I do feel for them in this whole situation. I feel like out of the whole situation, I do feel sorry for them because they're so young. They're impressionable at that thing. But you want to know something? I know some people are probably looking at Aubrey like, oh, you need to shut up, whatever the case is. But I'm with her on this. Absolutely 110% agree with a lot of what she said, especially where it just feels like, you want all your kids there, including your youngest daughters, because they're like, oh, they're around the same age, which I didn't even put that in my mind, put that together, that, they're literally around the same age that Cassie was when Diddy courted her, where, what was it? Cassie was like 19. These girls are like, what, 17, 18? So it's like, it does provide an ick factor to it. And then, it's like, because you're in there, like Sunny Hostin said when she went to the courthouse and observed, he's dressed all like, he's trying to, it's a tactic where it's like, you're trying to be all like frail and your hair is full gray. So you're trying to give us Bill Cosby tease with the whole aesthetic. That you're walking around with a sweater like you're Mr. Rogers and that sort of thing. So you're trying to play up like this, I'm a family man and I would never do. And I was like, sir, everybody's got two sides of it. You were living a double life. And then on top of that, it's like, how did you have time to, and I've asked this before, and then someone else asked, I'm like, damn, now y'all just reading my mind or whatever the case is, but how did he have time to produce? How did he have time to run his businesses? If you spend days on end out of the week, like he was more or less doing these freak offs and doing drugs more than he was working? Or was it that you had a team of people that was doing all the work, while you was off doing your little thing and beating the hell out of Cassie when she wouldn't comply over the things you wanted. Because, and I stand on this, I do not believe that he ever loved Cassie. I don't think that he saw her as a girlfriend. He used her as a freaking sex vessel. Like, to me, it just feels like she was there for you to abuse, use as a cum rag, and having these models, these sex workers, run through her for your entertainment. To me, it just felt like she was just this girl that was groomed. So in a way, when y'all talk about S trafficking and all this other stuff, I do feel like you found this girl, you saw her, you wanted to break her down and then break her, which her husband said you didn't in the testimony and in his what do you call it, the thing that he wrote, talking about the whole situation. So yeah, it's like, and that's what they do, sex traffickers. That's what they do when they human traffic and they get these girls or boys, whatever the case is. They break you down and then they try to break you, which is they run through you, R-wording you quite a few times, having people run through you sexually, supplying you with drugs when you numb yourself from all the stuff that's going on. Then you're sitting there fighting off diseases, but still trying to be having the energy and the wherewithal to perform for these men's pleasure, especially if someone who has the type of financial access that a Diddy has. So yeah, people who are out here that continue to slut shame Cassie and all these other things, all about, I would have laughed if I had the ability and I've been in abusive relationships, I would have laughed. Everybody says what they will do when they're not in that situation, or try to compare their situation to a Diddy situation when it's like y'all are not in the same age bracket as a Diddy. Your man is not in the same age bracket as a Diddy. So stop comparing what y'all would do to a situation of what Cassie would do. Because you're not in that same situation. It is no shade about the money and all this other stuff. It's just you have to understand this is not some regular case. This is a case with a man who was $1 billion, who was a billionaire. Someone who has access to a lot of people, a lot of rooms, and if he really wanted to, he could make you disappear. So I think people need to keep that in mind when they continue to try to make excuses for Diddy. And you got these incels that's standing out here on the corner like a damn prostitute, getting paid $20 an hour. First of all, y'all, if you might as well just start taking over these jobs with the migrants done left because they've all been deported. Well, the ones that have been deported, go work out in the field and start picking fruit. Because if y'all sitting out here taking $20 an hour to wear a free Diddy shirt out in public, y'all are some cheap ass labor. Because I'll be damned if I'm going to be channeling my inner incel, which I look at some of them dudes, and a lot of y'all look like the only way y'all get pussy is if y'all pay for it or you got to take it unwillingly without a girl's consent. Because when I was looking at some of them, I was like, ain't nobody trying to sleep with y'all. That's why y'all out here wearing these damn free Diddy shirts. And y'all out here getting paid $20 an hour and y'all think that's valid? Like that's a good way of making a living? Really? Okay. Cheap labor, as I said. I make more than that an hour working at the garden. But anyway, so I agree with Aubrey on this, and what she also was saying, like, yeah, that he needs you in court because he needs all the optics to look in his favor. He doesn't care what you have to sit through. Because I'm like, yeah, them daughters should not have to be sitting through all of that. They should not have to sit through hearing their father's sexual kinks and the things that he's done. Like, I would not look at my parents the same if I knew that my father, like, skeeting up in my mother and then want her to go and push the jizz in his mouth. Like, I don't want to imagine my parents having sex. So you can only imagine. I mean, I think that's what most people, like, nobody wants to think about their parents fornicating. So you think these little girls should be up in there doing that? But then again, these celebrities, they be on a whole nother playing field and stuff. And a lot of these kids run around like they grown any damn way. So I don't mind that, okay, Justin is up in there. Justin's in his 30s. Quincy is in his 30s. Christian is pushing 30. So I can understand when, and quiet as it's kept, some of them other sons been accused of some things similar to their daddy. So, you know, they can be up in there because they're of age, they're grown, so they can make the decision of wanting to be up in there and hear stuff. Because I'm sure they've been exposed to way worse. But as far as the daughters go, yeah, they should not be up in there hearing all of that. I do wonder because they went to the prom and college and all other stuff. I mean, not college, high school, and they went to their prom and stuff. If if the kids have been kind of like talking about their father in the case and all that stuff, and they just be walking around like how they've been marching down the thing with the camera people and the press, just trying to act like, oh, we don't see nothing, we don't hear nothing, like rose-colored glasses on, y'all look straight ahead. I wonder if they even doing that when they was going to school, because who's going to their prom? And y'all walk up in the room with your little red gowns on, and everybody in that room is talking about this case and things like that. You know how kids are. So, still to say, what do you guys think of this story? Do y'all agree with what Aubrey had to say about Diddy's kids being in the courtroom? Like I said, I understand the older kids, but as far as like the twins, I was like, if y'all not of age, y'all should not be up in here hearing that. So, and I know it probably comes across like, oh, they're girls, and well, oh, the guys should go, but not the girls. It's like, yeah, the guys are older. That's the only reason why I'm saying it. That now, if the daughters was in their 30s, kind of be like, okay, then they could sit up in there. But when you were a teenager and you were around the same age as Cassie, when your father groomed her, no, you should not be in the courtroom. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Justin Bieber told Hailey Bieber she would never be on the cover. And funny enough, she's on it, right? And it said during a fight, guess who's eating their words now? I feel bad for Hailey because it shows his insecurities. Yeah, I did see that story that he told her. I'm like, damn, girl, you just need to divorce him. But that's up to her. To me, I feel like they're gonna sit in it because they don't want to prove the paparazzi. Well, the not the paparazzi. They don't want to prove the press right, because the press been saying that them two is living separately, about to file for divorce and stuff. They've been saying that for the longest. So y'all don't want to prove us media folk right. So I feel like she's just gonna stick with it until we stop talking about it, and then she's gonna drop the news. But then we still gonna say I told you so. We knew it was coming. And look, if he can't work and provide for his family, then she got to get out there and hustle. But he got to come to terms with it. He said, I don't know, I'm just playing around with this. It says, show comments on the stage. Oh, did I watch the Wendy special? I did not. I forgot all about it. I know you you posted it in, like, when you sent me the message that it was on. I knew it was on actually because on Sunday I saw, when I was scrolling through HBO Max, because that's what it's called now, and y'all already know I've been calling it HBO Max. I don't care. When I went and I was scrolling on there or whatever, I said, "Oh, they got this Wendy Williams special. Let me like just set a reminder or whatever the case is." And so then I know it was going to come on yesterday, but yeah, I didn't get around to checking it out yet. But I'll probably check it out today, even though now that I know it's an hour. It said there's a point, but the kids were getting the info on out. Yeah. That was another thing I was thinking too, because it's like, yeah, with the banter back and forth, like I said, the kids that in school that be whispering and all the other stuff, I was like, yeah, they was going to hear it anyway in the press, so maybe in a way it's like it didn't matter if they were going to be in the court or not. The tea is going to be out there. They can read, so they'll read the art, they'll read the stuff. I wonder if he gave his kids a speech to prepare them for what. That's a good question. I wonder too. They said, can you imagine? They probably do got Ben Gay in jail. He using the kids as sympathy. Exactly. What pisses me off is how I have friends in our conversation saying that Cassie should take some form of accountability and saying she was illegal. Why do you think I be saying the shit I be saying on this damn show? Because, these incels are going to incel. And you said they don't understand this level of power. No, they don't. They keep trying to, because they keep trying to put themselves, they keep thinking, first of all, stop thinking small. I've always thought, like, I always think broadly. People only think of what's in front of them in the moment. They don't think about, the possibility that, no, you need to think beyond what you would do in a situation with your little regular schmegular man that you hunching. that will put hands on you. You got to think big. You got to think billionaire. You got to think mogul. You got to think somebody who's powerful and has a lot of money. What they would do, and this is where, yes, there are people who have a lot of money, a lot of power, a lot of influence, a lot of people they know can make you disappear. And ask no question. Look, we still got people out here lying about what happened to Jeffrey Epstein, including Cash Patel running around about he killed himself. No, he didn't. We already know that man's life was taken. We did a recent interview where he said that. Put the baklava on it. If you got to rock the free Diddy shirt, okay? And who's to say she didn't try to leave him? She's tried to leave him many a times, which I keep trying to point out to people. She tried to leave that man so many times. And yes, she would come back and forth, and there were conflicting text messages. And yes, she knows saying certain things that she was saying. But I would also think, like, when you've been broken down and you've been groomed and you've been brainwashed, and you got that damn, what's the freaking what Stockholm syndrome? I don't know why I always get Munchausen's by proxy and Stockholm syndrome is confused. Munchausen is when, you know, you have the parent that likes to take their child to the doctor and say they got all these ailments, or they do it to themselves too, and there's like nothing wrong with you. Kind of like Gypsy Rose Blanchard's mother, what she was out there doing. So, but yeah, when you suffer from Stockholm syndrome and you start to attach yourself to your abuser and things of that nature, like, that's real. People do get, when you've been broken down so much, you can be brainwashed. I don't know why it's so hard for people to believe that that's possible. I mean, I'm strong-minded, but I'm like, if somebody, I don't know, I'd really have to hold out. I'd be like, you have to cut off all my damn face. I'm very strong-minded when it comes to stuff, but yeah, not everybody's built that way. And so, who's to say Diddy does what every other abuser would do: stalk and struck fear in their victims. Child, we got one we about to talk about, Tory Lanez. Right after this, I get through all these posts. They said nobody wants to know about their parent. Hello, not even me. And then in the courtroom, where that's like, you got somebody that's actually, what's they call, a stenographer, where they have to type up every word. And so I would want to know, hello. So I agree with Aubrey, especially it would make Diddy look worse because he preyed on Cassie when she was around the same age as his twin daughters. I don't think they thought about that. I would only imagine what was going through their heads. Poor girls. I was like, this looks interesting though, that you could literally see on the side, like, a lot of y'all posters popping up. He said, that's why I give them grace. The first year I came out, when they thought my sex is gross. I was like, I think your sex is gross too. Okay. And he said, people find themselves stuck with abusive partners with hello. And we've seen them, and we've seen it, and we've heard the stories. Also heard those freakos. Oh yeah, that was that too. And Trump International, which, if I'm not mistaken, is the hotel that's in, and I walk by there a lot of times when I'm in Manhattan. It's Columbus Circle. Like, there's literally, when you get off the train at Columbus Circle, when you make a right coming off the train from, like, where the D train and stuff is, Trump International is right there. And usually I have to walk that way when I'm going to the movies, because I used to live in that area too. And I usually like to go to the movies in Lincoln Square, and Lincoln Center is like in that area too. And that's also where they had, I think Eyewitness News is still there, but they're planning on moving. But they used to have The View, all those shows there. Kelly and Kelly Ripa and whoever she had at the time, they was all there too. Even Kelly and Mark, because they just moved to another location in Manhattan. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But yeah, there was something that was happening there, and that's where they was getting the story that Trump and Melania may have participated. I would not be surprised. I heard that Trump was letting him rent out rooms. Mm-hmm. George went, yeah, I posted that on social media. He was also in Spice World trying to create a film with the Spice Girls. I was getting my life yesterday watching Girls Aloud, the live video they posted on the Metro. Can y'all post the whole concert? They just keep posting like certain clips from the concert. I need y'all to put the whole thing. Not you trying to be messy about Gaga's Grammy chances, and you pulled up a clip. Oh, you must have just caught that one. I know I was being messy. Well, you know me. I wouldn't be me if I wasn't. I was like, "Ooh, I'm gonna try this little experimental thing today." They just added this to StreamYard, so I'm gonna leave y'all comments and stuff on the side while we get into the rest of the show. But anyway, let me see where we going. Oh, speaking of which, because we was talking about people and abusive or being abusive in relationships, let's get into this Megan the Stallion story where she's basically demanding Tory Lanez to leave her the fuck alone because not only her, but the Tory supporters have been out here trolling her and still running around here saying that, you know, she made it up in regards of her getting out in the foot. But I'm like, look, well, before I give my opinion, let me just say what was being said. So yeah, now back in 2020, let's take a trip back a couple of years. Megan Thee Stallion was out in the foot while attending a party at Kylie Jenner's home. Subsequently, Tory Lanez was arrested and charged years before he was eventually convicted. However, the artist is now trying to place the blame on Meg's friend Kelsey Harris. Although this alleged new evidence has yet to be filed to the courts, which I have said before when I've talked about this prior, some fans are now harassing Meg based off evidence that we don't even know exists. Y'all going based off hearsay. So y'all hear things, you read a headline, and then let me just go on social media and harass a celebrity that I don't know because I don't like her. I have a problem with her. I'm a Tory Lanez fan when I'm sure majority of y'all can't even name not one damn Tory Lanez song. But now I just need to go troll her because that's what I need to do. But the problem I have with Meg on this, I'm glad that she spoke out. Says you shouldn't have responded. You channel your inner Cardi B and you just gave in because that's what they want. The minute they realize that they got you, they know what your Achilles. Damn, now I got to use a foot reference. They know what your Achilles heel is, and now they're gonna come at you. So here's what she said, because of course you know I have her comment. She said, her post. She said, "At what point are y'all going to stop making me have to relive being pow-powed by Tory? At what point are Tory and y'all fans going to stop lying? Like, how much is the check to keep harassing me? Why is this happening every day? One minute, y'all, I should say, said I was never pow-powed. Now y'all letting him play in y'all face again and said I was pow-powed, but it wasn't him. Okay, I'm sick of this ish. Leave me TF alone. He ain't dare get on that stand and deny he pow-powed me, and that was his choice because he knows he did that ish. IDGAF, ABT, a blog, or a bot. Why in TF would me, Megan Thee Stallion, have to lie on this MF about shooting me?" Girl, you should have put a question mark after that. Now they said, how y'all mad at the person y'all got shot? Facts are facts. He did it. It was proven in court. Blank the hate campaign on the internet. Tory, you shot me. Ain't no new blank evidence. Y'all been saying the same blank for years. Tory, please leave me alone. I think she said effing demon. I'm off this silly ass internet blank bye. So look, she's fed up. And as R. Kelly once said, when a woman's fed up, ain't nothing you can do about it. Maybe I should reference his problematic behind in this situation. But anyway, so Megan is feeling away. I totally get why she feels the way she feels. Because when y'all fed up, when somebody is backed up against a wall, and y'all constantly harassing, yeah, I'm gonna clap back and I'm gonna cuss y'all out. Because it's like, where's the evidence? If I did what they said I did, then what y'all need to do is find the evidence, put it out there, present it in court if you want a retrial, and let the chips fall where they may. But we went through a whole trial. Megan, and this is another thing I don't get with y'all either. Y'all continue to come out here and harass and blame her, but Megan did not file any of the charges against Tory Lanez. It was the city of California. California did this shit. So why aren't y'all going after this? I guess because y'all can't, California don't have a Twitter or a TikTok or an Instagram. So the best thing is because Megan comes with a face and a whole body, I'm going to harass her. But it's like, y'all like to cherry pick whatever y'all want to cherry pick in order to justify y'all stupid theories. And it's like, y'all don't even understand how the law of court works. It's like she said, we went to court. There was a whole trial. If I'm not mistaken, Tory took the stand. At any time, he could have brought this up. So, but now he gets carved up like a goddamn, piece of salmon in the prison. Now, all of a sudden, y'all got this evidence that just fell out of the sky where somebody said they got proof that it was Kelsey and not Tory. But it wasn't Kelsey's gun. So we know it was Tory. Y'all just don't want to believe it. And y'all just say that you don't like women or you don't like Megan. And just say that the reason why you want to go along with what Megan is, this whole Megan Thee Stallion situation is because you don't like her. I don't want to genuinely say, oh, y'all don't like women, because I don't want to just put all women up in that. But just say you're not a fan of hers. So automatically, y'all want to go out and continue to support problematic men. Y'all love I just don't understand in this day and age. You got people out here who are windmilling hard for Diddy, windmilling hard for R. Kelly, windmilling hard for Tory Lanez, windmilling hard for Chris Brown. And it's like, what do these people got to do for y'all to actually believe what y'all want to believe? But I guess at the end of the day, this is why I'll say, to wrap this up, Meg, you wasting your breath, you wasting your time, because regardless of you write this long ass speech that you wrote on social media in caps, like you was having your little Kanye moment, people are going to believe what they want to believe regardless. So it's no shade, but you wasting your breath. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story in regards of what Megan Thee Stallion had to say about this whole ordeal? And, she said she tired. She tired of y'all bullying her on social media over something y'all don't know about or understand. And said that, yeah, he's in jail. He in there for 10 years. And here's the thing. If Kelsey didn't do it, you had every opportunity to prove this in court. But y'all want to say, man, talk about snitch. I ain't no snitch. Well, okay, well then do the time. If you so innocent, do the time then. Because I'd be damned if I'm going to sit up there and allow someone else to be sitting out scot-free, getting sun rays, feeling the rain on their skin, and all that other mess, while I'm rotting in jail and worrying about watching my back every 5 minutes, hoping I don't get carved up again like Chad Meeks Martin in a Scream Damn movie. You not going no, hell no. I'm like, I am singing like a canary. And if y'all want to call me a snitching ass bitch, oh well, at least my ass is free. Y'all be the only ones dumb enough to be up in there doing some time because y'all worrying about a reputation or being looked at as a damn snitch. How's that when it comes to the code? I guess I won't say it's just the black community, but it's like that whole mob mentality. But mostly it is the black community, because black communities take from that mob mentality. Oh no, I'm gonna just ride it out. I ain't no snitch. Okay, well then he'll have to just do his 10 years. If he's so innocent, and they had many opportunities to bring this before a judge. You still got an opportunity. I don't know. I mean, I guess, but the case is closed. The jury found him guilty. He's doing his time. I don't know how long he's been in jail, because I don't care to do the math, but he's been sentenced to a decade. So luxuriate in what you got. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. I said, so y'all probably see like the things is up there. Let me see what they're saying. Robert says, oh, the concert is coming to Blu-ray on June 13th. My friend pre-ordered it for my birthday, saying we were getting sneak peeks of something new, Wake Me Up and on the Metro. That's why, oh, okay. That's why their label claimed copyrights on that ITV special. Well, I already saw it, so I'll be watching it and probably buying it again. It's also, Robert says, it's also a federal case. It's Trump's lawyers asking not news scum. I mean, he is scum. Him and that old fat bitch, Cory Booker, a mess, who went and was the only Democrat that voted for Jared Kushner's father to be the ambassador of France. Let that sink in. But everybody's sitting there talking about this little filibuster performance that he did. I was like, that was political theater. I didn't buy none of it. But then he goes on The View and is getting all this praise. And so I'm like, please, get off my line with that. He said it's also a federal case, and Trump's lawyers asking Newscomb to free him is actually her boss to pardon him. And then also said, oh, you talking about the diddler? Were they trying to get, or you talking about something else? It says, show the stab wounds. He fell on the blade. They trying to take a brown man down. Not necessarily crunchy up here being messy. And then I don't know. Also, you know what? Since this is a new thing with the little comments on the side, how do y'all like this whole situation? Is it something new that they have on here? I'm trying something now. You know, I like to experiment and try different things. Let me know if y'all like it in the comments. If not, I'll take it off because I don't know. I'm so used to doing this like this and bringing it up where everybody can see it. Maybe I'll keep doing that in the meantime, or I can have both up. You said it's working. They're breaking Morgan because she needs to let it go. Troy is trying to break her mentally. Oh, Tory is trying to break her mentally. Hmm. Yeah, it is working. They are trying to break her, and she Nestle Crunchy is a friend of the show. You said, "Nah, I'm with Meg for saying something." This has been. It said Nestle is a friend to the show. You said, "Nah, I'm with Meg for saying something." This has been too consistent. She's been dealing with this since quarantine. Because I think you're misunderstanding what I'm saying. And look, I can't be out here blocking every damn body. The only time I'm blocking somebody is if y'all say something homophobic, transphobic, racist, just being straight up nasty. He said, I guess she wants to move on. We all want to move on, but everybody keeps bringing this up. I will remove the Sniffies app. Our dating apps are coming because it's not made for dating, but sex. And look, if they want to do that, that's fine. Let's go back to the old school. We had to actually go to bars and clubs and hunch or hook up or meet people. The apps are kind of toxic anyway, so I'd rather just go out to a bar or something or another and meet somebody. Singing like a canary is one of my favorite sayings, and I make okay. One flow ho. Oh, he said, "Oh my god, I just found out." Child, that's one of the topics of the show. It's literally in my headline. He said, "Oh, I feel bad for Greg, aka Matthew Rush, for they were in a relationship." Did Matthew Rush pass away? Wait, Matthew Rush was dating Colton Ford? I didn't know that. I mean, he is notorious for dating porn stars, but it's a Tory Lane case was a federal one. I love it, but I see it on the TV. You said along with his friends and loved ones. I met one of my best friends on there. What, on Sniffies? I mean, damn, isn't Sniffies like relatively new, or did we just now find out about it? Anyway, did y'all actually answer whether or not y'all like the comments on the like the clear comments on the side, like seeing y'all comments popping up while we doing the show? I don't think any other people be doing that, but yeah, this is like a new thing. In the meantime, let me see. Um, while I was busy, entertaining y'all, I forgot to. Oh, you say yeah. Show the comments. The apps are yes, they are. I have well, shit. I might as well finish it. I do. I have sniffies. I'm a subscriber. Funny enough, one of my ex roommates actually showed me how to put like sniffies on my phone. Like before, it was even like a app that you go on. Like I forget how like you make the thing on your Apple phone where you could actually have the app thing on there, which is like a regular page, and you just press it and you can just go on sniffies and stuff. So that's like a regular thing. Like it looks like an app, but it's not really an app. Yeah, I understand. Like the small town queens need to do it. That's why I always say like for us, I guess it's fine because we if you're live in a metropolitan area, if you live in a city, you don't really need it. But um I get everybody else needing to use it, especially if you live in like Omaha, Nebraska, and it's like you and three other homosexuals that's living there. So I totally get it. Okay, so I guess the clear comments will stay because it makes it feel like, I was, like I said, there was always ways I wanted everybody to feel like they're part of the show. So if I can have the clear comments and stuff in there, then I'll keep adding to it. And then during the mid segments, I'll just put up like I've been doing and read what y'all say. So that way I'm highlighting what y'all saying. But then in the future, I would say, you know what, this probably would be perfect because when it gets to the point where it becomes so many of y'all that I can't go through these comments anymore, I can just have it on the side going up, and then I'm just doing the segments. when it gets to a point where I'm like, I got 20,000 views and 20,000 followers, and it's like I'll be here for like 8 hours going through all your. Oh, I would have to have somebody literally picking out like the highlighted ones, or I would probably have to do something where it's like the only way that your comment gets highlighted, and I'm letting y'all know this now, is that y'all do super chats, super stickers, that sort of thing, or a member. But I don't want to be one of those people that just like the only way that you can respond is you have to be a subscriber and all the other stuff. He said I did almost hook up with a 50-year-old on there though. Oh, all right. But it's all, of course it is. No shade, but that's kind of like the best ones. And they be letting out all their frustration. Oh, he said, I don't use Scruff. I kind of just be scrolling through Grindr. I barely use Grindr. But that's when I found that one that I posted, that picture of the one where it said the guy went and wrote Zionist in their as their heading. And I was like, child, if you slide in my situation trying to hook up and you got that in your shit, what you're not going to do is we're not doing nothing, because you already know how I feel about, when I be to my Free Palestine or other stuff. I do not like a Zionist. I did kind of wish I tried it though with the hero. Oh no, he got your pic. Oh, because you were sending out them nudes and things, which is fine. It's kind of like what we do. The one thing I don't like when it comes to the apps is that so many people are so hooked up on, I want to see your nudes before I want to get to hook up with you. So I feel like y'all are pic collectors. I think we all kind of did that, didn't we? Like a lot of us, young when we were younger, we was hooking up with older men. I know I was. I think the first time I had sex was a guy I was a teenager, and I didn't never ask his age, but he definitely looked like a guy that had to be in his late 30s, early 40s. I believe I told y'all that story. All right, so anyway, let's move on to more messy news, and let's talk about Skai Jackson, who, like I said, can do a reality show with the good girls who get with horrible freaking men like Keke Palmer with her baby daddy and Haley Bailey with her baby daddy. So yeah, Skai Jackson, we all kind of knew this was coming because no shade, but her man looks slow. But that's what she wanted. DeAndre Bergen, that's his name. So the Disney Channel alum, who's 23, has filed a request. Ain't she around the same age as Halle Bailey? She filed a request for a restraining order in LA County Superior Court against her son. What's his name? Kasai or Casey? It's Kasai, the father, DeAndre Bergen, over I should say DV, but it's domestic abuse allegations. This is according to TMZ, who first reported the news. Now, in documents obtained by People, Jackson claimed that Bergen assaulted her earlier this month on Mother's Day while she was holding their newborn son. Isn't that something that Keke Palmer said happened to her too? Well, her baby, yeah, that's him right there. Don't he look slow? But he do give me one of those that, there's some skinny ones you got to watch out for, because the little skinny light skin ones, they penis be down to their ankles. And that's probably why she got with him. She saw all that meat and became stigmatized. But now you out here with a baby and a man you filing restraining orders towards. So yeah, now she alleged that Bergen grabbed her by the hair, slammed her head against a car window and punched her in the face. Now that's why I said, now maybe this was a trigger for her because of what happened with Halle Bailey and DDG. So I think, because if you really look at it, this is around the time when she started reporting this. Like, DDG and Halle Bailey had their situation, and now she's coming out with similar allegations. Or is it accusations? Same shit, different toilet. So she also claimed that she experienced DV at the hands of Bergen throughout the relationship. Per the document, she told the judge that she endured a 6-month period where she would be abused weekly. She alleged that Bergen would choke her, scratch her, and slam her head into walls. Now, in addition to physical abuse, the actress claims that he damaged her personal property, including an iPhone and a TV. At one point, Jackson alleged that Bergen demanded she not drink bleach to kill. Oh, to unalive the unborn child when she was pregnant and claimed he held her at knifepoint. While walking her to her car, she claimed that Bergen threatened to stab her in the stomach if she cried out for help. She also detailed another incident for which she claimed she has video evidence. She alleged that Bergen punched through a bathroom door after she locked herself inside. She claimed that he then slammed her against a wall and choked me until I could not breathe. Now, a source close to Jackson tells people that the decision to file a restraining order was made to ensure her family's safety. She then, quote, the safety and well-being of her family is the top priority. This restraining order was filed as a necessary measure to protect her and her child from continued harassment and threats. Now, in January 2025, Jackson announced that she and Bergen, who she did not publicly identify at the time, welcomed their newborn by sharing a snap of herself holding the baby's hands on January 26th. The following month, the actress told People that motherhood had been so positive during her first public outing at the 56th annual NAACP Image Award or Image Award Creative Honors since announcing the birth of her son, saying, I love being a new mom. It's just so exciting, so exciting. I'm here tonight. I'm already missing my baby, but it's been a great month with my new little one. I feel like being a mom and juggling everything probably has to be one of the hardest jobs, but it's such a rewarding job because I'm doing it for him at the end of the day. So I definitely learned that about myself. I can just handle whatever at this point. And you want to know something? I will point out to y'all that he has responded. The judge has granted the restraining order. That is the latest. And then he took the social media to my, he about to crash out because of the judge ruled in her favor, which goes to show that Slowpoke, you're proving her point. She said she has the evidence. She said you put paws on her, that you were choking her, that you threatened to stab her, that you wanted her to drink bleach so that when she killed the kid. At this point, I'm following restraining orders. I want supervised visitation. Hopefully she pushed for that because then when hell I'm leaving my kid in the hands of you. I probably won't see the kid ever again. Or you might try to take the life of the kid. Like mentally, you are not stable enough to take care of a child. Why does this kid? Neither one of y'all should have laid down and had a kid because I don't feel like that mentally y'all are both at a place too. She seemed like she had to grow up pretty fast. He looked like, duh, like he's giving me that when I'm looking at him. So now you're in a situation where you laid down with this boy. You are stuck with a kid with him for the rest of your life. And I'm sure that you could bounce back and do things, I guess, career-wise, whatever the case is. But this was a donkey move. It's just like, this is why y'all need to stop spreading your legs and having babies with the first man y'all look at, because then you wind up in these situations. Hence, Keke Palmer with Darius, Haley with DDG, and now you with this one. So this is insane that, you're going through all of this. I'm sorry that you have to go through all this. But yeah, this is some bird behavior. But the one thing I will say is like, you know what? Kids are precious. Kids are a gift. I'm glad that you're getting to be a mom. You're getting to experience all that. And, this kid is the love of your life. But yeah, I guess you're just going to have to keep the restraining order. It's going to have to go through what it goes through. And unfortunately, you stuck with who you stuck with. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Do y'all feel a ways about Skai Jackson, what she dealing with? I was like, child, I don't feel no ways tied, but I feel, and I guess in a way I feel bad, but at the same time, it's like, girl, when we heard about you in the baby situation, just like with Halle Bailey and DDG, we was like, sis, what are you doing? This is a mess. We try to tell y'all don't want to hear it. But sometimes, when us older people who have been who've been through some things, try to lay down the foundation and tell y'all stuff, kids when they in their 20s and early 20s, they think they know every damn thing. I was one of them. And then sometimes you just got to learn the hard way. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. All right, so let me scroll up and see what everybody's saying. I was in the clubs at 15. I had guys in their 30s and 40s trying to pick me up. Yeah, I was in the clubs and raving and stuff at that age too. All right, Aaliyah. Age ain't nothing but a number. The first guy I hooked up with was 26. I was with you want to know something? I think that's an ongoing situation that a lot of us at that age, when we were young, we were hooking up with older men. When we look at it as a way, it was like, was it a rite of passage, or we were just getting with these older men because we felt they were more experienced? Or do you feel like that was a moment of abuse? Like, oh, you're 15 years old, you're not of age, but you're hooking up with somebody that's in their 20s or their 30s or their 40s. So it's kind of like PDF file type stuff. I don't know. I wasn't looking at it that way when I was that age, but now looking back on it, I guess some people would kind of consider it that. First Keke, then Haley, now Skai. A mess. That's why I said they all need to do a reality show together. No shade, but that is what I said. No shade, but her man looks. Am I lying? Skai is a sad case because she comes from a kid's show. They only know how to act a certain way. Rare do you get a Zendaya. Skai is going to be in the news for the wrong. A mess. Shout out to Zendaya. She's the only one so far that's been able to do it right. Her and Sabrina Carpenter, because is Sabrina Carpenter a Nickelodeon girl? I mean, she a Disney girl. What am I talking about? How do you go from Disney to not Pookie? I like Z, but I don't think her acting is the best. But she better than Sky though. That you for look. Doesn't I was gonna say, don't she have an Emmy? But then again, John Roca, got dragged on social media for saying Sarah Michelle Gellar he don't think is a good actress, and he was like, "What? Child, she got a whole Emmy." But I guess different strokes for different folks. It said those three need to do a reality show that's called How do they pick bums as baby daddies? I was trying to think of a name because I was like Andy Cohen or Mona Scott. One of y'all could pick it up. Don't go do Basketball Wives because you got Evelyn and Jennifer still out here fighting with each other on social media. I'm like, y'all at y'all big age should not be all over social media still going back and forth about baby daddies and man and criminal activity and white collar crimes and all that. They're going back and forth. And I'm sitting there like, y'all both too old to be doing this. And number one, I mean, that is number one. And number two, totally forgot that Basketball Wives is back for a new season. So I started going back and forth with all of this. Do people still watch that show? It's PDF file type nonsense. The minor has no responsibility in that situation. It's all up to the older guy. A professor once told me that we should all have compassion for women because nature wants them to reproduce so badly that it sometimes suspends their judgment pertaining it to make. I think that could also be true because there's this overall pressure that it's like at a certain age, yeah, you got to get married, yeah, you got to have kids, you got to have the white picket fence. We got to stop trying to tell people that, yeah, this is what y'all need to be doing. Like when you're ready to go out and have a kid, then go out and have a kid. But stop. I hate this whole idea of like, yeah, that, and then y'all out here telling people the mating pool is slim, so they need to settle for. I feel like I was watching something where somebody was literally having this conversation. I don't remember who, but I remember this conversation had been brought up in something somebody recently that I was watching something. It might have been Fag Talk. I don't know. Shout out to TS and the other one. What's his name? Craig. Speaking of which, I can't wait until TS Madison, her Outlaws podcast ends up on YouTube. I know she's trying to get everybody to go and listen to it on iHeart because that's her deal. But I'm a visual person. Like I like watching reactions and conversations on other stuff. I definitely want to see all the interviews. I know recently she gave Chaperone her flowers, which I was living for because Chaperone and Sasha Colby, they were both on the same episode together. And then she did one with Tina Knowles, which I gagged because I had no idea that the day Beyonce released Renaissance was the day that her uncle Johnny passed away. And I gagged. Tina Knowles gagged. She didn't even know that. She was like, wait, Beyonce didn't even know that. So that could have been the universe being like, yeah, speaking to her, like, this is the day you need to release this album. Some people was like, oh, Beyonce, no, Beyonce. No. I know. I truly believe in divine intervention. Like, I do believe that it was like, for some reason, the universe is telling me this is the day that this album needs to come out. And you don't even know, like, the story of, like, when your uncle died. The only one that knew it was her, Tina. Yeah, Baby Mamas of Hollywood, that definitely sounds perfect. I don't know why I couldn't have came up with that. But yeah, Baby Mamas of Hollywood definitely works. According to the streets, reality is getting worn out. It damn sure is. I'm not really that much into reality shows anymore. Like, I barely watch The Housewives. The only ones that I watched was Beverly Hills. But other than that, I don't care about the Housewives of Atlanta. I don't care about Basketball Wives. I don't care about none of those. I'm more or less into competition shows. Like, I watch The Traitors. I watch Drag Race. Like, that's where I'm at with my drama. The stuff where a bunch of people sitting in a room together cussing each other out over brunch. Like, that's so tired. That's what I be saying. I don't understand how Jersey Shore is still on. I don't understand how Teen Mom is still on. They ain't even teenagers no more. They teenagers are teenagers. So it's like, why is this on? I was gonna say, who's Norm? You talking about Norm from Cheers? And yeah, he was on Cheers. Wasn't he also on Frasier at one point? I think socialization has more to do with dating habits and just nature. If it was that, you would think birth rates would be. And not only that, but a lot of people can't even afford to have kids. Kids is too expensive now. Everything is going up except people living wages. And especially we got these stupid tariffs. But it was just, so I was watching something where this guy was talking about that he has a thing set where he orders some of the things from Walmart and then where it's like a delivery or whatever the case is. And he was just swapping things out and adding things in and it was gonna come around the same price. So it was like normally he would pay like a certain price. It jacked up to like way more than what he normally paid. So it's these tariffs and all this other mess. My drama is the Great British Baking Show. I don't think I've ever seen that, but I do like Worst Cooks in America. Like I like something like that. And I'm looking forward to Project Runway coming back. I need them to revive America's Next Top Model. Like I like stuff like that. But they said Lonnie Love got Nene Leakes to add a disclaimer to the Tamar Braxton episode saying it's allegations and Tamar can expect. Really? Speaking of which, shout out to all of y'all that have been watching my Tamar Braxton Nene Leakes clip. Cause that video when I posted, I don't remember when I posted, it might have been yesterday or the day before. It's blown up. I'm getting a lot of comments on it. I'm getting a lot of likes. I'm getting so shout out to all of y'all that have been liking the Tamar Braxton Nene Leakes video. Is definitely helping out with the subscriptions and all other stuff. But that's a good one because I was just sitting there like, yeah, with her saying what she said about Tamar and Candy, which I'm like, Candy don't even respond. Um, I'm liking that Lonnie Love came out and said something because it's like, yeah, you on TV, you didn't really check her over what she said because it's like, yes, it's a reality. I mean, it's a talk show. You're up here letting her call Lonnie Big Back Cadillac numerous times. You even chimed in and started calling her that too, which is crazy and unprofessional as a person trying to be a talk show host. You should be okay, sis. Now, that's not appropriate because then that covers your behind. Even if you low key agree with her that she is a big back Cadillac. But then again, a lot of y'all was reminding me in the comments, and I did find this funny. People like, how she got the nerve to call somebody a big back Cadillac when she was married to one? And not only that, they was out here saying Logan a big one too. I don't know what Logan looked like. I just remember him when he was little and he was on the reality show. I don't think he's been on the Braxtons, the spinoff or the new iteration of the Braxton Family Values. But you was out here reading you're like you reading her calling her big back Cadillac, but you was so near spread your legs and got pregnant by one. Like sis, let's not. And if your son is big too, you can't be out here reading the girls when your child probably can't even see his own dick past his belly. Like let's not do that. So you can't be out here reading the girls when your hairline is at the halfway point. You can't be doing that, sis. When it literally look like your baby hairs look like a headband on your head. You can't be out here trying to read the girls. You got to make sure all your stuff is on point and up to par before you be on on Beyonce's internet and Blue Ivy, because we got to add her up in there. Blue Ivy's that girl now. So Beyonce and Blue Ivy's internet reading the girls. You can't be doing that. Just saying. Terrorists, okay? Speaking of Walmart, they trying to make you pay for self-check. You got my line with that mess. Not no damn self-check. Who is paying for that? First of all, I'm basically having to scan my own stuff and bag my own stuff, and you want me to pay to scan and bag? Give it all. Because y'all just getting ridiculous. Any way that they could squeeze any kind of money out of somebody, Thank God I don't go to Walmart. I don't even go to Target. That's why I'm glad that they lose it. They falling down the toilet. That's what you do. That's what you get from removing DEI and all that other stuff. But I heard they slowly starting to add it back. So they just not telling Trump. Just like Trump didn't even know that when they voted in favor of 9-0 and it was against what he did, and he said, "Oh, they told me it was in favor." No, dummy. You don't even read your own stuff. Just like this is the same idiot that's running around thinking that there's a stage 9 cancer. I'm like, it only goes up to 4. But then again, this is what happens when you start removing people who work in the medical industry, particularly those who do research on cancer. You think there's a stage 9 form of cancer. This is freaking embarrassing. It really is. And people still make excuses for his stupidity. I wish I would pay. That's what I said. I was like, I will walk. The minute they tell me that I got to pay for, I will walk out and leave all that stuff there and be like, no, y'all put it away. You get paid to work here. You can put my stuff away. I'm not putting it back because you're not going to charge me for my own damn stuff. Check it. Might as well give me a damn job here if that's what it's going to be. And they created this whole in-person retail. So it's just like, what? Anyway, I can't. Damn, you know what? I should have, just to make this flow along with the Skai Jackson, I should have probably put the Keke. You know what? Yeah, I should have probably put the Keke Palmer story up here, but I just keep everything going the way it goes because it is what it is. But anyway, let's move on, y'all. Hold on, let me take this out. The comment, get right back into the show. And let's talk about this lawsuit with Salt-N-Pepa. So, it seems like there's a lot of people filing lawsuits against Universal Music Group. Doesn't Limp Bizkit have a lawsuit against Universal Music Group too? So it's like a lot of people out here who are filing lawsuits against Universal for doing them dirty financially. Drake is the one that kicked it off. But in regards to the whole Drake thing, let me tell you this real quick before we get to the Salt-N-Pepa situation. So there were 4 scholars who filed a brief in support of UMG's motion to dismiss Drake's defamation lawsuit, saying that if he succeeds in his action against UMG, they claim it will be a threat to free speech and that fictional narratives are common occurrence in hip-hop. Because, as they've stated many a times, for example, and I've talked about this so many times when I'm talking about this Drake thing, which is why I just want to talk about it and pass it instead of making a whole segment. 50 Cent, Jay-Z, and Tupac. Also, and Nas. Remember when Jay-Z and Nas had Ether? And they went back and forth. And then you had, of course, Remy Ma going at Nicki Minaj with Sheether. And then, of course, you had Nicki Minaj and Megan Thee Stallion going at it with their battle rap with Bigfoot and all this other stuff. So you ain't hear Megan come out and sue Nicki Minaj for calling her Bigfoot. You ain't hear Jay-Z and Nas going in on each other and suing. You didn't hear Tupac and Biggie going at each other. Talking about lawsuits when they battle rapped, or 50 Cent, or LL Cool J with the numerous rappers throughout his career that he battle rapped. So this thing with Drake is so dumb. It's basically a Zionist blaring, a black Karen, as I call him, who is feeling bitter because his feelings is hurt. So he channeling his inner white queen because he mad that, people think I'm a PDF. Well, if he wasn't sliding in the DMs of underage girls, allegedly, then we wouldn't have came to that conclusion. That wouldn't have been some ammo that Kendrick used against you in this whole situation. But you mad because because y'all were going back and forth with all y'all stuff, and then the one battle song that finally sparked this frenzy and a lot of more and bigger success for Kendrick, even though Kendrick was successful anyway, was not like us. And you mad because people out here saying that minor part and loving the song. So now you're feeling bitter. Well, sis, get over it. You the same idiot that was out here talking about some free damn Tory. He another one. So you want us to feel sorry for you with that? But anyway, let's get into the latest suit. Because Universal Music seemed like they got a laundry list of people that's coming after them. The recent being Salt-N-Pepa. As y'all know, the groundbreaking duo behind hip-hop classics such as Shoot, Push It, and What a Man said that in a lawsuit that UMG is violating copyright law by refusing to agree to turn over the rights to their master recordings. Cheryl Salt James and Sandra Pepper Denton filed the lawsuit in federal court in New York on Monday. That'll be the 19th. That was yesterday. asserting that the copyright in 1976, which says that after several decades, artists can terminate previous agreements and reclaim ownership of their recordings, clearly now applies to them. And that's probably because, Salt-N-Pepa came out in the 80s. So we already hit like, oh, yeah, because I remember Shoot came out in 93, Pusha came out in 87. I think they came out like around 86, 87. That's past, that's like, are we at the 30-year mark yet? So we're almost at the, where it's like, y'all been around long enough. Well, yeah, 87, that would probably be like damn near 40. So they're past the 30-year part. Especially like if you think about 1993, we're already past 30 years. So I think that their copyright situation it might be around the 30-year mark because I know they do it with movies and stuff too. So it's been enough decades. They should have ownership of their stuff. Now, the fight, which was led to UMG pulling their music from streaming services, comes as many artists with beloved legacies are making lucrative sales of their catalogs, while others get stuck in classic record label battles over old contracts. UMG has indicated that it will hold plaintiffs' rights hostage if it means taking the value of plaintiffs' music catalog and depriving their fans of access to their work. Now, UMG representatives did not immediately respond to an email seeking comment. The lawsuit suggests that situations like Salt-N-Pepa are the very reason a provision of copyright acts exist. It allows artists who made deals at the beginning of their careers when they were relatively powerless to use the cultural standing and musical legacy they later established. The suit says that James and Denton filed to terminate their agreement under the law in 2022, saying, quote, eager to retake full ownership of their art and legacy, but that inexplicably UMG has refused to honor their rights. This is where I'll be like, child, I would never get into business with UMG because if y'all be treating y'all artists the way that y'all been treating them a lot lately, and a lot of them been in crappy contracts, which I totally understand. A lot of artists get in bad contracts or just do what they got to do to become famous, and they know if I deliver on the amount of albums I'm supposed to deliver, if I'm successful in so many other ways, that when I get to a certain point, then I'll be able to go out and accumulate the success and eventually own the rights to my music. So I'm wondering, in order for them to get around to this, do they have to kind of like do a Taylor's version? Do they need to go around and just re-record all their stuff, similar to I was gonna say, like I said, Taylor's version, or JoJo, who y'all know did it first. She was the one that was going around and re-recording her music. So they said that James and Denton said by law they should now be able to own early recordings, including those of their 1986 debut album Hot, Cool, and Vicious and 1987's Push It, a B-side whose remix caught on and became their breakthrough hit. And I agree with that because it's like, yeah, it's been, their albums came out in the 80s. So at this point, they should be able to benefit from that stuff without the record label still having that control. They say other recordings should legally be theirs later this year and in 2026, including the 1993 album Very Necessary, which includes Shoop and What a Man. The duo is seeking both actual damages for money lost and punitive damages in amounts to be determined for UMG's actions. The suit says actual damages could well exceed $1 million. They also want a permanent injunction confirming their rights to the recordings. They said by pulling the songs from streaming on other commercial platforms, the label has maliciously punished Salt-N-Pepa for daring to assert their rights. And that's exactly what this feels like. Because I was going to say that. It was like, yeah, they filed this lawsuit. But in your answer to that is, we're going to pull their music. We're going to teach them a lesson. Well, guess what? I actually got physical copies of Salt-N-Pepa's music, so I'm good. When I was back in the day when I was growing up, I bought like Salt-N-Pepa's music via CD. But I think I have Very Necessary on cassette tape. That's how far back it goes for me. So here I go. Okay, girls, what's my weakness been? Damn show is. So yeah, they're punishing them. Now the lawyers, the label's lawyers, I should say, said in letters included as exhibits in the lawsuit that they have encouraged mediation and want to reach a mutually acceptable resolution. Well, if that's the case, then why did you pull their music? Because you didn't do it to Drake, you didn't do it to Limp Bizkit, and all the other artists that I can't think of off the top of my head that are currently you're in lawsuits with. So why have you done it to Salt-N-Pepa? And I know some people probably gonna be like, "Oh, this y'all kind of for what y'all did to Spinderella," but no, that's between them. I don't know what's going on with them and them putting, dumping Spinderella, or how much creative input Spinderella has had in the music. So I can't speak on that. But what I can speak on is that UMG lawyers said in the letters that James and Denton were not even personally parties in the 1986 agreement that covered the initial albums, and there is no evidence that they granted the label copyright that they can now reclaim. They said UMG maintains that the recordings were works made for hire, which would not allow for the reclaiming of rights. Salt-N-Pepa's lawyers also said the women's agreements with the label make it very clear that they were not. But I'm trying to understand what that means, because they were saying like that the recordings were works made for hire. So you're probably saying like what? That these producers, whoever provided the beats, the girls got into the studio and they just started like came in, booked the time, and just started laying down tracks. Laying down their vocals or their rap lyrics over the tracks, but they don't own any of the rights of the stuff. I was like, Chuck, I seen it look crazy here. Like, she looked bug-eyed with the eyes. And then, I know a lot of people like to criticize and say, okay, girl, you had way too much work done. But that's the face you got to live with. Now, the Queens New York duo of James and Denton became Salt-N-Pepa in 1985. They were later joined by DJ Spinderella, who was not part of the early agreements under dispute and is not involved in the lawsuit. They said, quote, Salt-N-Pepa boldly changed the look of rap and hip-hop. Yes, they did. And they said they were not afraid to talk about sex and to share their thoughts about men. Their sound recordings, Let's Talk About Sex and None of Your Business, for example, were huge hits. They talked candidly about women's sexuality and empowerment when such topics were frowned upon, heavily criticized, and called taboo. Yes, they did, because back in the day, I'm gonna tell you a story. Story time. So, when I was in high school, I actually wrote a little play or whatever the case is around one of the skits that they did on the Very Necessary album, which was when one of the girls came out to their boyfriend, said that they wound up getting HIV and all this other stuff, ended up getting it from him, that sort of thing. So I took the foundation of that and I wrote a whole play around that skit that's on the CD, well, on the album, I should say, because it was a CD, it was a cassette, it was a vinyl, it had all that stuff. So based off of that, that's a fun fact for y'all to know. I did write that little play based off of that skit. So yeah, that's the latest on this. Well, I'll definitely keep you guys abreast of this story as it develops. Um, yeah, it's just like this is why I feel like people just need to self-finance. I know it's harder. Independent is the way to go, because these record labels, the way that they, I understand, like, the record label is a way to, like, they give you an advance. It's a way that they push you to like get out there and have your music heard and all that other stuff. But the way that y'all be treating a lot of these artists, where it's like they're a slave to the industry. It's just sad when you always hear like y'all don't read the fine print, and don't be trusting the UMG attorneys. They don't work for you. They work for the label. Get your own personal entertainment attorney to read over those contracts, because a lot of those contracts are a mess. So yeah, that's the latest on this. I'll definitely keep you guys abreast of the story as it develops, but I definitely want to hear from you all. What do you think of this story regarding this lawsuit that Salt-N-Pepa have against UMG for money owed and want to be on the rights of their art? So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. He said Anita Baker won the rights to her masters. Oh, did she? Okay. He said Drake is a loser. I wish Anita would use those rights and add the albums on streaming services. Anita's a damn mess, especially when it comes to her live performances. Like, we live for the music. I grew up on Anita Baker, but yeah, the music ain't doing what that her and the live performances and the attitude. That's a whole nother situation. Spinnerella got an attorney to latch on. Get an attorney to latch on to this. Yeah, we'll see what she has. But Spinnerella was the DJ. She was, touring and all other stuff. She wasn't like, I guess if she were to get a lawyer, she would have to prove how much influence she had in the whole Salt-N-Pepa brand. Ain't nothing but greedy hoes to me. What are we talking about, Salt-N-Pepa or UMG? Child, yes, I had the Very Necessary cassette. He said, if I remember right, there was a time when Peppa was pregnant and Spin took over the slack of their. Oh, well, yeah. Well, she would have to prove that. She rapped and was in plenty of videos. Okay. I don't know, because I don't, it's like, even when I would listen to, like, I don't remember that far back. Like, well, I'll be honest, it's been a while since I listened to Salt-N-Pepa. But growing up, and then trying to remember that far back to the 90s, I don't know. I was like, I don't remember how much influence, but if I were to remember back to the liner notes, I do believe that Spinderella name is up in them liner notes in regards to like songwriting credits. So I believe that what you're saying. One of my first posters. Oh, your first poster was Salt-N-Pepa. Look at us feeling nostalgic. Talk about Salt-N-Pepa. I do love me some Salt-N-Pepa. So, like, when we talk about Meg Thee Stallion, Nicki Minaj, Cardi B, all of them, yes, there was Salt-N-Pepa, there was Moni Love, there was Queen Latifah, who, I forget, damn, I wish I would. Oh, so I don't know if y'all been watching the Living Single podcast, but um, Erica Alexander and Kim Coles were finally revealed who was that dancing up under the bridge during the Living Single theme. That was Big Les. I didn't even know who it was because you can't really see her face. It's like a dancer choreographer from back in the day. Big Les was that. That's who that was. That's dance up under the bridge. I love me some Living Single. I told you I'm binging it right now. Yes, I'm very bitter about it because they were my fave. Yeah, they should be able to get their money owed. And it's sad. Like, it's like, that's why I would say, read them contracts, get you a good entertainment lawyer. Don't use the label because they work for the label. They don't work for the artist. So they're gonna tell you to sign that piece of crap. All right, y'all. Let's move on. Let's talk about Miss Yennefer, who is, speaking of lawsuits and being sued. She's being sued. And I know some people are like, how's she getting sued for posting a picture of herself? Well, when the paparazzi are taking photos and things of that nature, that is, unfortunately, when they seeing you and snapping their photos, that is their intellectual property because they can go and profit off it when they're selling it to TMZ or whatever the case is. Well, Yennefer decided to take that photo and post it on social media, and they're like, sis, you didn't go through the proper channels when it came down to using a photo. So now we're suing you because you owe us some coins. Because yeah, being a paparazzo is a business. Whether you think they're the scum of the earth or not, it's a business. So the dispute centers around images taken before the 2025 Golden Globe Awards and shared on her IG and Twitter accounts. On Monday, May 17th, photographer Edwin Blanco and photo agency Black Grid USA filed 2 federal lawsuits against Jennifer Lopez. They claim to co-own images of Lopez standing outside the Amazon MGM Studio X Vanity Fair party at Los Angeles' Bar Moment on January 4th, the night before the Golden Globe Awards. Now, according to attorney Peter Petrovsky, representing Blanco and Black Grid, Yennefer posted the pictures the following day on January 5th to both Instagram and Twitter without permission. The alleged copyright breach triggered a wave of reports by fan pages and fashion brands, saying, quote, Ms. Lopez's unauthorized use of the images is commercial in nature, intended for the purpose of self-promotion. This is what Prokowski wrote per Billboard. Because I had to get this story from somewhere else. Billboard, y'all be trying to lately. Y'all be trying to get people to pay to see articles and stuff on it. I'm like, if y'all don't get off my line with this food, I'll just wait for somebody else to have all the information and I'll just bring it to y'all. For example, Ms. Lopez used the images to spotlight the designer of her clothing and jewelry, leveraging the publicity from the event to promote her fashion affiliations and brand partnerships. So you literally are using the photo to make money to promote your brands and the partnerships you have with other brand deals, I guess you have. And this is the intellectual I know it's you and you see it. How you on me? No, the person who took the picture of you out in public, that is their intellectual property. Unfortunately, they use their camera. They took the picture. They're part of an agency. They own the rights and stuff to that. So you using other people's photos, y'all can't do that. So therefore, now you have to pay up, I guess. And more than likely, if this is what they can prove, she'll probably end up settling. Now, Bukowski revealed that Black Grid and Blanco reached out to Lopez's team the week after the alleged infringement to address the situation. Discussions reportedly went well, and the parties verbally agreed to a financial settlement. However, Hanover's side never finalized the deal in writing or made any payment. The lawsuits also emphasize that this isn't the first time Hanover has faced similar claims. Now, in 2019, she was sued for posting a paparazzi photo featuring herself and then boyfriend Alex Rodriguez. That case also handled, oh damn, Petrowski is coming after her throat because he handled this case too. Ended in a voluntary dismissal in 2020. And I'm sure that Hanover is hoping there's going to be another involuntary dismissal with this case. Saying, quote, this prior litigation against Hanover, well, he said it's Lopez, but I like saying Hanover, on notice regarding the legal requirements and potential consequences associated with the use of copyrighted images without proper authorization. This is what Prokowski wrote. Despite Ms. Lopez has continued to engage in similar conduct, demonstrating a willful disregard for Black Grid's copyrights through a pattern of behavior that undermines the rights of content creators. Oh, we know she don't like content creators because remember that time when she was going through what she was going through with Ben, and people was writing all those discourses about her being shady and all the other shady stuff that they were saying on social media, and she was trying to get people's stuff taken down to the point where they said one girl did she end up unaliving herself, but she died of cancer or something or another? I can't remember off the top of my head, but then they was like, "Ooh, look, Hannah out here putting that hoodoo on people," and that girl lost her livelihood because when she was posting these TikTok videos and she makes her living from TikTok, she was using the money that she would make from TikTok for like her medical expenses and things of that nature. So people was going in on her for that. Now, the plaintiffs accused Jennifer Lopez of willful copyright infringement, which could result in damages up to $150,000 per image. Did they say how many pictures that she posted? Well, they said she would have to pay $300,000 because they said like if the law succeeds. So yeah, so it's got to be like what 3 photos? He's doing 150. Well, 150. 150. That would be 300. It's like I'm bugging. But anyway, so as of Monday, Lopez representatives have not responded to the lawsuit. Now, fans may find it odd that celebrities are sued over the photos, but the law is on the plaintiff's side. Now, stars like Miley Cyrus, Justin Bieber, and Dua Lipa have also faced similar lawsuits in recent years. Now, under U.S. copyright law, the photographer, not the person in the photo, owns the rights to an image. And this is what I said when I'm explaining to you. This is actually me reading this. I'm assessing it as I'm reading it. I did not go through this whole article, but it's like upon my, analyzation of it, it's like, yeah, I know it sounds crazy that you would think, how do you own the rights to me and I am me? It's like, yeah, you own you. You are in charge of you. But if I'm out in the street and my profession is taking pictures of celebrities, when I take a photo, it is my intellectual property. Just like when you agree to do a photo shoot, comes in the room and takes your photos, or Merton Marcus, or David LaChapelle, that is their intellectual property because they're the ones that are creating the art around you, and you are the vessel. You are the blank canvas, if you will. So then it said that means celebrities can be sued for posting paparazzi photos of themselves on social media without permission. Even if the celebrities are the sole subject of the photo, they have no legal right to use it without a license. Hence, taking or posting such images without consent is considered copyright infringement. Excuse me. Additionally, being in a public place does not exempt someone from being photographed, nor gives them control over the image. If infringement is proven, the celebrity may owe either actual or statutory damages up to $150,000 per photo. Most cases, they say they settle out of court for some smaller amounts. So, like I said earlier, I really feel like what's going to happen is Jennifer knows she in the wrong, but apparently she probably got amnesia. Because is she about that age? She in the 50s, mid 50s. But you should know better, sis. If you've been in this situation before, you should not be out here using someone else's intellectual property. But that's what she did. She gonna have to, I guess, pay up that coin. And more than likely, like I said earlier, I feel like she's gonna settle out of court with this. Might as well nip it in the butt. Otherwise, sis, you're going to end up paying that $300K. And I know yo cheat behind, and as much as she like to hoard money, she is not trying to pay no paparazzo $300,000 damn dollars, which some of them would have to go to the lawyer because you got to pay the lawyer for winning your case. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? I know it sounds crazy, but that's the law. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. So let me know what your thoughts are on this story regarding Miss Jennifer Lopez in the comments down below. So I hope she uses her power to get them banned from events for that. Is that she should at least represent the photographer. Or I don't know, did she even like when she posted it? I mean, I'm wondering if this, because now it's got me thinking, if you post somebody's photo of you, do you did she not credit them in the photo? I'm thinking she didn't. She just saw a photo of herself, liked the photo, and just posted it. But it's like, yeah, if you're going to use somebody else's intellectual property, you should tag them or credit them in the thing, because then that helps them out. That draws people to their page and their work, and it helps them out. So I would do that if somebody's going to use my thing. I mean, it's the same thing like when I see like with a friend of mine who's a photographer and the Drag Race girls or whatever the case was, when he takes pictures of them, I kind of wish he would kind of go in and do that. But I guess he don't want to ruin their relationships, because I know he get mad when they use his pictures and don't credit him or tag him and stuff. And it's like, yeah, y'all have to know that. I understand y'all new to the game or whatever, but just know in the future, if you are someone who's a public figure and you're going to use someone's photos that you see of yourself on social media, if you're on a red carpet, if you're out and about getting your Starbucks, whatever the case is, you need to tag the people that took those pictures, because otherwise you could be finding yourself in a lawsuit. That's what I was wondering. It's like, I don't know if she wrote the name. Probably didn't. She saw the photo and just posted online and started using it to advertise her little brands, as they stated in the lawsuit. I mean, they get stalked many times for these photos. I believe that she will settle out of court. You said not the biggest fan, but Jennifer does this. Wait, you said, but this does. Oh, you said this does sound a bit excessive. I know it does sound excessive, but that's the law. Sometimes I be just shaking my head at some of the laws that we have. I'm like, huh? Okay. Yeah, that's what I said. Maybe she did that in the beginning. She wouldn't be in the situation she's in. But anyway, let's move on, y'all. And tell me what's up. Damn, we got a lot of more topics to go. We got one, two, three, four. We got 6 more topics. But let's get into this Wendy Williams story. How you doing? So now, Wendy, there was a documentary that premiered yesterday on the ID channel called Trapped. What is happening to Wendy Williams? And so, yeah, if you have the ID channel, definitely check it out. Or if you don't have the ID channel like me, you can take yourself over to HBO Max. It's up there. So the documentary premiered yesterday and wasted no time getting into the life of the former talk show host. I think it's like an hour long, so they had to like get to the point. And, talked about the guardianship. Now, the 60-year-old legend is residing at a New York City assisted living facility, but according to the new doc, she was relocated after celebrating her birthday with drinks and city views from the rooftop bar of the building. Saying, quote, Wendy was on the third floor in this care unit where she has access to the hallways, to the elevators. This is what journalist Diane Diamond alleged. And on her birthday, she decided to get in the elevator and see where she could go. Well, it went all the way up to the rooftop bar, and it being her birthday, she ordered a drink and then another one and another. Who knows how many? But she will admit to you that she got drunk. She had a relapse. Now, her celebration allegedly led to her being moved to a restrictive memory care unit on a different floor, where she is now under 24/7 supervision unless granted permission to leave. Now, the new revelation echoes Wendy admitting to celebrating her 60th birthday during a call-in with The View this past March. Wendy acknowledged celebrating her milestone last summer, but emphasized that she is currently alcohol-free. Well, that's probably because you are such under tough scrutiny that you can't come out and admit, or you don't have access to alcohol. But I was like, hold on, let me change something, because I want to show y'all that clip. I don't know if y'all seen it from The View, but I'm gonna change the tempo. Hopefully, was from Twitter, that they won't come at us from What's that? ABC, Disney. They won't come for our throat for using copyright. So yeah, let's get to the clip. Hold on, let me go over to it. We don't risk it. If anything, I'll just edit it out. But anyway, so yeah, let's get into this, and we'll come back and talk. Please hold.
Talk show icon Wendy Williams has been all over the news, and with differing reports of her well-being swirling around, we thought it's best to reach out to Wendy directly to see how she's doing. So I understand on Monday you were taken to the hospital, which you walked to the ambulance, so you're ambulatory, and you were discharged on Wednesday. Well, so why did you go to the hospital in the first place?
Well, I went to the hospital. I was having a little agina, and to go to the hospital. Look, where I live, you know what I'm saying, at this memory unit on this floor. Yeah. I just needed a breath of fresh air. You know what I'm saying? I needed to see the doctors, so that's why I went to the hospital.
I see.
All
right.
And then while I was at the hospital, I also got blood drawn for my thyroid. But most importantly, you know what I'm saying, being at the hospital, it was my choice to get an independent evaluation on my incapacitation, which I don't have it.
You sound okay to me.
How dare they say I have incapacitation?
Yes.
I do not.
Okay. Anna?
Well, Wendy, this is Anna Navarro. You and your niece, Alex, who we've had on our show, went out to dinner. So in addition to fresh air, you needed good food on Wednesday. How did that go, Wendy?
Well, I thought it was great at first. Alex and the boyfriend, they flew from Miami to New York. They got me at the hospital, and then, with permission from the Guardian, of course, we left the hospital and by ambulance, and we stayed here for, I don't know, about an hour, because we knew that we were going out to eat, just to celebrate, life, because, I'm out of coterie for a moment. I'm off that floor for a moment. So we went to Tucci's and we had great lunch or great dinner. And then when we finally got back here, there was paparazzi, so we stopped, you know what I'm saying? That's what I do. I stopped, I posed, you know what I'm saying? And then these two people, I'm sorry, that's what I do. So then these two people who work here, they're usually gone by like 5 o'clock, 1, and the other one like 7 o'clock, right? They're still downstairs, like they're waiting for me. I'm like, oh my gosh, what is about to happen? It is a locked unit. Like they have to use keys, the people who work here, to open it, to take the elevator downstairs. I am not permitted to do anything but stay on this floor, the memory unit floor, where the people are 90 and 80 and 70. Look, I'm 60, and I don't even know what a memory unit. Why am I here? You know what I'm saying? Where people don't remember anything. So I stay in the bedroom the majority of the time. Wow. I never go out to eat with them. And I stay in the bedroom. Am I permitted to have, my friend Gina to come visit me? No.
Wow.
She has to get permission.
Wendy, this is Sunny. I have to read this statement because we've referenced your guardian, Sabrina Morrissey.
Okay.
Her lawyer points out that the guardianship was created by a judge who declared you legally incapacitated after a diagnosis of frontotemporal dementia, and says that you have not been kept from your family and that you are receiving excellent medical care. I just need to make that statement. But I have a question that I want to ask you, Wendy, because we've known each other for a long time. You are actually the first person to give me an opportunity on radio. I was your legal eagle on your radio show. So thank you. Thank you for giving me my start. You're a legendary broadcaster. We know that. You broke the mold. I know you love the work. How do you keep your spirits up when you really are not doing what you love to do?
Let me tell you something, Sonny, and I'm glad that you're talking with me about that. I'm a college-educated woman. I'm a global, international person, from radio to television, I've been doing important things all of my life, and these two people don't look like me. They don't dress like me. They don't talk like me. They don't act like me. And I venture to say they will never be me.
Okay, so we back. And I just wanted to give you a little bit of that so that way you and that was like from the View clip and all the other stuff that I saw over on the Twitter. So shout out to y'all over at ABC. Hey Sonny, hey Whoopi and all of them. I don't think Whoopi was there on that one. I think that was a Friday episode. But anyway, so yeah, she spoke out about her health and conservatorship after the court-appointed guardian filed the request for a brand new round of medical evaluations. Wendy said that she does not have dementia, she doesn't have all these other things, but we do. Well, okay, so that may not be the case. And Wendy may not be 110% mentally, but we do know that Wendy Williams is an addict. That is something we can all agree on. Because if you were left to your own devices where you had the freedom to be on a specific floor, which they said was the third floor, where you could walk around. And y'all know I love Wendy. I live for Wendy, but you know what? We got to call it like we see it. Just like Wendy's a straight shooter, pow pow. I'm going to be a straight shooter too, pow pow. And we got to call it out like we see it. And the fact of the matter is, Wendy is an addict. Wendy was given the freedoms that she was allowed to have because she had to be in this facility because she was surrounded by people who were taking advantage of her financially, feeding her alcohol while they were robbing her blind. And she was in a drunken stupor all damn day. And then she goes, on her birthday, she wants to celebrate, which I'm here for that. If you want to celebrate, celebrate. But you decide to take it upon yourself. And here's the thing that really grinds my gears. Why the hell is there a bar on the top of a building where you have people in a living facility? Especially if you're going to put somebody that has an alcohol addiction, where they have access to kind of like sneak around and go on the roof and do all these things. I don't understand how y'all have that. Like, that's literally like someone who's a drug addict and you got a whole drug den in a facility on, right next door to a rehab facility. Like, where they do that at? That don't make no sense. Like, why would you have that? Like, that's literally like you just dangling the carrot in front of her face. But it's like, yeah, I would love Wendy to have her freedom and all this other stuff. But who's going to also keep her in line when she kind of, she doesn't know how to have a drink. They said, like, you have a drink. Then she had another and another and another. So I definitely want to check out this documentary. I want to see if I learn anything relatively new that we don't already know. But they said what we can expect is that Trapped includes several medical experts who each weigh in on whether her symptoms point to frontotemporal dementia, which she was diagnosed with in 2023, an alcohol-induced cognitive decline, which a brain disorder specialist bluntly called the second most common cause of dementia. And I do believe that Wendy does have cognitive decline due to alcohol, because y'all don't realize, when y'all be drinking all that alcohol dehydrates your body. You need fluids to kind of keep you going, which is why a lot of times if I'm drinking, I do, like, every now and again I'll throw some water up in my situation, because it's like your body needs those nutrients, those electrolytes. Also, when those times when you black out, you say, oh, I blacked out, I don't remember. That's the cause of the dementia. When you get to a point where you are so drunk that you black out, that's a dementia sign. A lot of us don't think about that until we get to a point where, our memory is completely fuzzy. So that's the latest on that. Good luck to you, Wendy. I really hope that, you get it together. As I've stated before, the one thing I want for Wendy is I would love for her to have a sober coach and a financial advisor. Those are the people I feel like she needs in her life that can keep her on track with a lot of stuff that she's dealing with personally. Do I think that she needs to be in this crazy conservatorship? No. And I also see why they locked her up, because it's like, you are on their property drinking. Because if anything happens to you, that's a lawsuit on the company. Whether people agree with how they're handling her or not, and I'm not saying that they handle her the right way, but when you on these people's property getting lit and getting belligerently drunk on your birthday, you're opening up this company to a lawsuit. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. I was like, ooh, I felt a little dizzy there for a second. Whew. All right, y'all. Let's see what the people talk about in the comments. He said Arietta accuses Irene of sleeping with people. Oh, so that's what they was talking about online. Somebody said, Arietta said, what? And I was like, I ain't know what the hell was going on. Hold on. Now you're going to have me scroll over to let's take a trip over to Twitter. I said, Arietta, girl, you already got it, because you was going around here talking about on your nerve breath. And now you out here talking about, oh, I'm sitting there watching the video talking about this man, this Amazon dude talking about how much he hate going to this man house. Going to this man house. Oh, hold on. So we got to pull this up. Let's make this a topic, child. So apparently, Arietta be out here being mad. I knew I ain't like that queen. Because now she out here being messy. Now she out here accusing somebody out here of dealing with children. You already had somebody out here. Okay, so it says, here's what Ariette said about Irene. Tweets that are now deleted. Judging her actions on the show, it could be all a lie. Even if it is true, it's so weird that she is bringing a topic such as pedophilia or pedophilia, because you know the algorithms. So the pedophilia went up only because Irene said something bad about her. What did Irene say? So they said, so yes, the drama was about money. I produced and booked a show in Seattle. I invited Irene to come host. She got on the race and got a raise. Cool, I got on the race. All of a sudden, money is tight. Okay, as a producer, booker, I tried to plan a way to divvy up the earnings, which exactly what show producers do. It's not a crazy or wild concept. Every show producer deals with this. She didn't want to make any changes, and it looks like I was trying to steal / mess with her money. And it was $50 out of her 1,000. Oh, so she was booked to make $1,000 for a booking, and she said that it was she only took $50 out. She said, friends hated me already. So at this point, she already had made up her mind about me. She just needed a reason to call it quits. Period. That's the story. So no, it wasn't character. You did that to yourself when you said you did racist-ish and everyone hated you a while back. Remember? Wait, what's going on with the whole there was alleged racist allegations against her? Or was that something that we talked about on the show? You know, there was so many drama and controversy that comes out with Drag Race. I can't keep it all. I can't keep track of it all. But if that is the case, let me know in the comments, chat. Like, fan out. Just like I need y'all to fan out some more about this because I need the tea. And they said, and no, it definitely wasn't man, because I'm going to be perfectly clear. I F men. Oh, you a top niece? They said, I don't fuck prepubescent children. Let's just say that. I also have plenty of details about both topics if any outlet wants them. Well, Ariette, name them. I want them. Send me the tea. Y'all thinking I was aborted. Now I was released from my shackles. All right, now. With the shackles on my feet so I can dance. All right, Mary. What shackles you was released from? But yeah, well, I totally get where she's coming from when she said, I fucking, I don't prepubescents or children or whatever the case she said. So it was like, yeah, I'm with men over the age of whatever. But I'm like, girl, if there's evidence that Miss Irene, the alien, is out here dealing with children, she out here pulling. Wait, do we know any other Drag Race girls that have been accused of that? Wasn't there like a Sharon Needles story allegedly about her grooming children and things of that nature? Oh, so now we got all the posts that was deleted. Here's the deletions. Someone said, judging by the way Ari was on the show and on Twitter, I'll need to see proof before I believe anything out of her. Now, another person said, if any queen has ever lost the benefit of the doubt, I'm also waiting for proof. So yeah, there's all the posts or whatever. Let me see if there's any more people that commented on this situation. Because I'm like, child, if y'all gonna come out here and make these kind of allegations, we need to see. You're the reporter we all needed. Thank you for your service. Not her. So okay, Miss Mamas. It's time. Wait. They said it's a time to bring. Who's Dusty Turner? Okay, that ain't got nothing to do with Drag Race. Okay, so then there's not really anything going on. This is like yeah, it's only like 60 likes, 8 retweets, 1 comment. So it's not really a lot going on about that. But yeah, this is breaking news, child. Apparently, we got a Drag Race queen from season 17 accusing Irene the alien of dealing with children. I just need the whole tea. I need somebody to break this down. I'm done. Not are we sure Ariette is not Tyra's drink. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of this story because I want to know. I'm about to, child, let me tell you, I'm going to cut this up tonight and I'm posting it on social media because I definitely wanted people to fan out and I need people to come in the comments because this is going to be breaking news. Thank you for this, Onyx. You know, you definitely helping out. You know what? I need to reach out to Ariette and find out why the 2 aliens is out here fighting. So yeah, what's going on? Prepubescent children chat. Yep. I said, name and shame them PDF files. That's what I said. I want to know what's the tape. And you said Irene was in Mistress's new video and said, I don't play about my family, my money, or my man, something along those lines. Oh yeah, I didn't watch Mistress's latest video. I did see it was all over social media, so I haven't watched it yet. But I said, name them. Like, I'm channeling my girl Sutton Strack. Name them. Name them. Name them. Name them. Name them. I want to know. You want names? So name them. Yeah, Riette, if you want to come on and spill tea, come on out. I'll definitely have you on this show so you can spill all the tea. We could be messy together. But yeah, this is funny. Are we sure Ariel is not? Because I'm like, yeah, they all out here being messy. But I'm like, you should have left them tweets up. Maybe she got dragged all over social media and she felt the need to comment. But yeah. Okay. Where we going now? Oh, let's talk about Miss Palmer. Let's get into this Keke Palmer story, who I thought was relatively interesting because of what she basically said on this situation. I agree with her, especially when she's talking about, financial discipline. Because I remember, like, when Keke was younger, she did say that she was, she went bankrupt, I think, or another. So she got her coins together now. So Keke Palmer might be a famous actress and best-selling author, but she still prioritizes saving. She's a Virgo too. So when our Virgo be Virgo, we are very good at being frugal when it comes to our stuff. In a new interview with CNBC earlier this week, the One of Them Days star opened up about how she manages her finances, saying, I live under my means. I think it's incredibly important. If I have $1 million in my pocket, my rent is going to be $1,500. That's how underneath my means I'm talking. She also previously said she inherited her frugality from her family, saying, quote, I learned from my parents very early on because they knew their limitations with money and finances. This is what she said during when she appeared on Club Shay Shay's podcast. She said, I believe in saving and frugality. I don't play around with that. Now, Palmer scored her first acting job at 9, appearing in Ice Cube's Barbershop 2, Back to Business. By the time she was a teenager, she had her own series of Nickelodeon, True Jackson VP, and her own credit card. She said, my parents, at their best, made $40,000 a year. I was making that a show. Earlier this year, the former child star attended Vanity Fair's annual Oscars party where she paid homage to one of Christina Aguilera's iconic Y2K looks. Palmer selected a crystallized mesh Versace gown previously worn by the Dirty Singer. I think I have that picture too. I don't think that's it. That's the Met Gala, but that's the outfit that they're talking about. Now, Aguilera wore the mesh frock, which came from the Italian label Spring 2004 collection at the MTV Europe Music Awards. She paired it with a bright red lip, matching blush, and ultra skinny brows, though Palmer put her own twist on the vintage dress. The Nova Star wore her auburn hair in a sleek ballerina bun, accentuating her features with a classy smoky eye, a glossy new lip, and sculpted cheeks. Okay, so I totally get where she's coming from with this because, in a way, I would be the same way. If I was someone who had Keke Palmer's income, it's like, yeah, if I'm a millionaire, my rent is going to be cheap. I'm not going to be going around being like, oh, I gotta buy all these, expensive ass sneakers, or I gotta buy all these watches and all this jewelry, or my rent needs to be thousands of dollars, meaning a $20,000 a month apartment or whatever. Like, I don't need all that. Give me something with a nice 3-bedroom. I could pay $1,500, $2,500. I even go $2,500 a month because I'd be like, okay, I could afford that on my own, or $1,700. I'll just go $1,500 to $1,700. Like, I could pay all that. And if it's like a 2-bedroom or a 3-bedroom, one of the rooms will be my studio. Another one I have a spare bedroom. One be the master bedroom. And I would do that instead of thinking like, because people think that you have to flaunt your wealth. It's like, I don't need to do that. I don't need to prove my tax bracket or my income and all that other stuff because you're going to end up broke. And a lot of people have gone broke because they have that kind of mentality. So I'm with you on that, Keke. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Do you agree with her? Where it's like, yeah, I think if you do come and make a lot of money or come into a lot of money or accumulate a lot of money, you should live below your means. So it's like, yeah, if I'm a millionaire, my rent is going to be $1,500 to $1,700 a month. And if I got a nice little spot in a nice little neighborhood where I'm not having to break the bank, I think most of us would dream to do that. But that's because you have to be smart about being, when it comes to your frugality. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. All right, y'all. Now let's get into this Lorde story that we have. So she has come under fire because she revealed in her interview with Rolling Stone that she saw the Pam and Tommy Lee sex tape and called it beautiful. And some people didn't think that that was appropriate for her to say because they said that Pamela Anderson has come out years later and talking about like what that video, that tape, when it was leaked, how it became harmful to her career. So Lorde is being called out online as she praised Pamela Anderson and Tommy Lee's infamous sex tape. Now, while speaking with Rolling Stone for its June 2025 cover story, the singer shared that she watched the former couple's unauthorized release tape and called it beautiful. Lorde, who's 28, admitted that she looked up the video after a psychedelic therapy session, noting that she's not sure why she watched it in its entirety. She said, quote, I found it to be so beautiful and maybe it's effed up that I watched it, but I saw two people that were so in love with each other and there was this purity. They were jumping off the big boat. They were like children. They were so free. And I was like, whoa, being this free comes with danger. Now, Anderson and Lee's tape was notoriously leaked to the public in 1995. The former has spoken out against the unauthorized release over the years, calling it hurtful, and she has said she'd never seen it. She's never seen it. I was like, yeah, why do I need to watch my own sex tape? I was in it. But what people need to realize, like, I totally got where Lorde was coming from with this, but I was like, girl, you should have kept this in the chamber. This is the one bullet you should have kept in the chamber. Like, this is something you shouldn't have released because now people are going to look at you crazy. But I feel like people are, of course, looking at the surface and thinking sex tape and Pamela Anderson and what she said instead of her looking at it from a deep artistic level. And it wasn't just them hunching. It wasn't as like dry and uninspired like Ray J and Kim Kardashian's tape. It was like a home video. It was them jumping off the boat. It was like them kind of living their best life and feeling free and being like two big kids. Yeah, they're grown on the surface, but they were living fruitful and fancy free, and they were acting like children and just embracing each other. And it was just the purity of it all. So I totally get where Lorde was coming from with what she said, but it's just like, yeah, you already know, like if you say something like that, people only hear sex tape, Pam and Tommy, what that tape did to her. Yeah, so whoever it was a jerk for breaking into the safe and finding the tape and putting and leaking it and profiting off of it. And I'm sure that was embarrassing on Pam's part, but at the time, she made it because it was just, it was just a thing that they did. She didn't think that something that private, especially coming out of the 90s, like that wasn't something that was like this major thing. It was something that was private between her and her husband at the time. And look, she got 2 kids out of it. So, she was hit with backlash on social media. So let's read what some of the people said. They said, Lorde is low-key a hypocrite for this BC. She dragged Lana for romanticizing abuse, and now she's referring to reframing an abusive relationship as being beautiful, despite the fact Pam has repeatedly stated how much the relationship / her sex tape being leaked traumatized her. Another person said, actually, Lorde does deserve the lashings. Pamela has spoken about so many times about how violated she felt and still feels about and still feels about it, but I guess that doesn't matter because it's beautiful to Lorde. A pretentious joke. Me, I'm looking beyond what Lorde said, and I'm analyzing it from a way an analyst would do it. But I get that how y'all feel about it. So another person said, why are we asking Lorde what she thinks about Pam and Tommy? I didn't read the article, so I don't know how that whole thing started. But I don't think that. So I heard you that you. I don't think the comments are. So I heard you watch the Pam and Tommy sex tape. What are your thoughts? I think she was talking about being in psychedelics, taking psychedelics and having this revelation about being free and freedom. That's what I'm assuming that's the conversation was. And it just so happened that while she was talking about taking psychedelics and having whatever epiphany that she had during going through that psychedelic situation, that then she brought up Pam and Tommy. I don't think it was the reporter knew that she saw the video. I think she volunteered the information. So yeah, they said, why are we asking Lorde what she thinks about Pam and Tommy? This beautiful vid of two people in love should have been kept private and still is a violation towards Pamela, who didn't deserve the scrutiny she got from the public eye for it. We are glamorizing the wrong things, a third fan said, while another user wrote, exactly, this is gross. Why are you publicly talking about watching someone's leaked sex tape that caused them an insane amount of trauma and humiliation? Meanwhile, another user reshared Rolling Stone's Twitter post and shared a screenshot of a quote from Innocence 2023 Netflix documentary, Pamela, a love story, in which the Baywatch alum said, if anyone watches it, if anyone buys it, if anyone sells it, it's just pathetic. You can't put a monetary number on the amount of pain and suffering it caused. Well, another person said, Lorde, I just can't defend your ass no more. This is what somebody wrote along with a screenshot. But look, there was that one, the only comments from Lorde's Rolling Stone interview that raised eyebrows. Now, elsewhere during the conversation, the What Was That singer shared that she went on birth control at the end of 2023 and had stopped taking the contraceptive pill for the first time since she was 15, saying, quote, I've now come to see my decision as maybe some quasi right-wing programming. But I hadn't ovulated in 10 years, and when I ovulated for the first time, I cannot describe to you how crazy it was. One of the best drugs I've ever done is that I felt like stopping taking my birth control, and I had cut some sort of cord between myself and this regulated femininity. It sounds crazy, but I felt that all of a sudden I was off the map of femininity, and I totally believe that that allowed things to open up. Excuse me. Now, some people online took issue with Lorde, alluding that her decision to go off the birth control pill was due to being influenced by right-wing misinformation. Because I was gonna say I can't really speak on women issues because I don't have a coochie and I don't ovulate. But I feel like where she went wrong with the conversation is what they alluded to, which is a woman making a decision of going on birth control is not a right-wing talking point. A right-wing talking point would be something about that abortion is murder or something like that. Or that, oh, they killing babies at 9 months or whatever. Or some idiots, and you already know who, number 45 and 47, said they aborting babies at 10 months old. Mind you, how many women still pregnant at 10 months? It's like, just like we got stage 9 cancer, apparently. Jesus Christ, on a unsalted cracker. Some of these people out here, education is, this is why education is important. It really is. Because we just can't keep highlighting, or excusing stupidity. It just bothers me as someone who takes pride on common sense and educating themselves. We just can't support stupidity and dumb stuff that comes out of people. So now, they said, I think it's very interesting how Lorde practices her prefaces her positive experiences going off birth control with a caveat that is due to right-wing influences. Another person said, posting about Lorde going off birth control without mentioning she was influenced by right-wing disinformation is a choice. The whole article / rollout is so ? Another person said she really woke up that day and said, let's see how far back I can set feminism in a single interview. Now, despite praising the drug of being on birth control, she did say that she later faced other challenges, revealing that she was diagnosed with premenstrual dysphoric disorder, which causes severe irritability, depression, and anxiety in the week or two before your period starts. So she just needs to find out for her what works for her body as a woman, because sometimes birth control don't work for everybody. So go get you an IUD, which apparently she did. And with her getting that SIS, IUD, stay in school, because it's the best. Now, for her doing that, that's how we got this album cover. Hence, why we see the IUD inserted inside her for the whole situation. So look, I like Lorde, I like the music, but girl, sometimes when you talk, you do be sounding crazy. But look, I guess they could say the same thing about Chaperone, right? Like, everybody's not always going to get it right with things that they say. But it's like, yeah, she said what she said. You could just call her out on the stuff. I do agree with her on what she said the first time. The second thing, I get what she said with the whole Pam Anderson thing. She did step her foot a bit in it with the equating a woman choosing the right to go off birth control with a right-wing talking point, which is not. But look, I don't know. Maybe maybe they have different views or whatever down in New Zealand versus us in America. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding what Lorde had to say? The two controversial things she had to say in her latest interview with Rolling Stone. Whatever your thoughts are on this story, let me know in the comments down below. All right, so let's see what the people are saying online, and then we'll get to our final comments. I just saw, hold on. Sure, it was beautiful, but also a huge invasion of privacy that wasn't consensual. At least Lorde has a new song coming out next. Yeah. I don't know about the new song though. I mean, he and did. Shout out to Tom. I was like, who knew he was packing all that meat? And it said he did and did. Did you ever see the anime movie, The Secret World of Ariete? I think that might be where she got her name. Well, Ariete does a lot of like, elvish ears, anime type. Like she does like all these like creature stuff. So I could definitely think that she got that name from there. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, look, Aja's an anime girl too. Then they leaked the tape and it traumatized Pamela because she didn't consent to it. So that wasn't like it was intentional, Kim Kardashian. It was against her thing. And look, Pamela, I believe like she was the one that kind of catapulted this whole celebrity sex tape phenomenon. And then everybody else started copying. And then all of a sudden everybody else's got leaked. It was like, okay, leaking your own tape is not a leak. Pimpin' Chris, Lorde getting MK Ultra the real. Yeah, and I'm like, what happened to? I remember that story because that was like '94. I was like a kid when that happened. So I'm like, did the housekeeper get in trouble for that? Champo compared herself to Sinead O'Connor in her anti-celebrity situation to Britney, Lindsay in Paris in the mid-2000s. She also gave a shout out to Madonna for allowing her to wear her outfit. When was that? Oh, you said, I was like, when was this? And of course you put it there in the Outlaws podcast. Well, I definitely need to watch that. Did they post is it a YouTube video or is it like, I got to listen to it? Because I did hear that they said that, because I went on the Outlaws podcast on Instagram earlier, their page, and they said that the YouTube videos are coming soon, but they want everybody to go and listen to it over on iHeart or wherever podcasts are, or wherever you can listen to a podcast. I also just sent you another deleted tweet from Ariete that wasn't included in the first post. Her friends are running jokes about her. She's gonna bag a young one, or don't let her near the schools. Were you saying that Ariete has one about what? About her friend? Or the friends are talking about Ariete, or they talking about or they talking about Irene? Oh, y'all so messy. Oh, wait a minute now. Hold on. Let me go back because that the post, another one came up. I said, okay, those accusations are wild, but we have shown each other our likings. Hold on. Yeah, now this popped up. There's another one. There's another one and another one and another one. Hold on, let me take out this because this is, well, I don't know if y'all can read that anyway. So this one says, okay, those accusations are wild, but we have shown each other our liking / porn. And it was very sus. Her friends have running jokes about her. She's gonna bag a young one, watch out. Or don't let her near any schools. I will say prepubescent child was crazy though. In other words, wait, Lovebot Collins. I don't think that's Lydia. They said, I'm so glad you owned up. Keep this here for accountability. Do better, please. Or maybe that was her. They said, and no, it definitely wasn't man. Because I'm gonna be perfectly clear. I don't run children. So it was like, oh yeah. So I think this is like literally 4 minutes ago. So they said, I'm so glad you owned up. Keeping this here for accountability. I'm like, yeah, is that Miss Butthole? I don't think it is. Oh no, this is somebody from UK because I'm like, she ain't from there. Let me see if this is another one. All right, there was some about booking a show in Seattle and that whole thing. I think this is literally the same thing. So I don't think we got any new stuff. So, okay. So that's the latest. We got another one. And it's funny because it's like you sent me the thing. I went over to Twitter. I literally went to open it up. And the post that you sent me in the message was right there. So I didn't even have to go in the message to look at you. So it's like the algorithms, y'all be, I know they be listening. Oh, damn. I can't wait to cut this clip up. Because ain't nobody talking about this yet. Yeah, Bussy Queen and them didn't start talking about this yet. So I'm picking it up there early. And it said I listened to it on Spotify. Oh, okay. So yeah, they said that it's coming soon, but I don't know. They're probably gonna wait until I hope they're not gonna wait until the whole season's over and then start posting the YouTubes. Because I think most people like it's I understand your deal with iHeart and all the other stuff, but I'm someone I like watching podcasts. I mean, I have it on in the background. I can glance up while I'm working and watch it on my TV while the podcast is happening. And sometimes I'll listen to Race Chaser and all of them and Sloppy Podcast. Which I need to watch the new one with Meatball and Big Dipper. They had Candy Muse on there. I need to watch that one. So and that was a good one because I saw a clip that they posted and I posted on my social medias too. Not Chicken Hawk Teas. Well, okay, y'all. So we have about how many? We have 3 more topics to get to before we are at the end of today's show. So before we get to those 3 topics, if you can do me as solid if you have not already, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Also smash that notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I will be putting timestamps in the show once the show is done. So that way those who come and watch the playback instead of who aren't here for the live feed can just get right on to each topic at hand without hearing us do our little rambling live chat messiness banter. Please and thank you. All right. So now without further ado, let's get into talking about my husband, Pedro Pascal, who is sending some love out to the people who, he said in this time and day and time, we got to fight for our right to party. No, that was, someone else that said that. Beastie Boys. But yes, he is talking about, he is openly and sharply criticizing, and you already know. One thing about Pedro, he is not mince his words. He is someone who is very outspoken and likes to use his platform to speak out against things that doesn't sit well with him. And one of that is, he talks about like the hatred towards trans people. So he's gone in on J.K. Rowling and a bunch of the transphobes. He's out here wearing a shirt called Protect the Doll. Shout out to him and all the others that's out here wearing those shirts. And they do help the trans community. I think the money does help with, I think it's like when you buy a shirt, it does go to like proceeds and things go to like trans organizations, things of that nature. But now his latest thing is he was over at the Cannes Film Festival and he's been criticizing Trump's attacks against artists. So anybody who speaks out against him, he's going in on. Like recently, you got Trump mad because Bruce Springsteen went and started dragging him all over social media. He's talking about Bruce Springsteen is untalented. I'm like, sir, now you need to go find the nearest ditch and jump. Because one thing you're not going to do is sit about here and call Bruce Springsteen untalented because the man didn't have the career as long as he had without having no talent. Now, if anybody lacks some talent, it's you. And running your mouth and being, and just doing juvenile insults is not a talent. Especially when you're not really clever with your reads. So he went in on him. Now he wants to sit and talk about Kamala Harris and her spending, paying for Beyonce and all these other artists to endorse her on her campaigns. But if that's the can of worms that you want to open, sir, then we need to look into Elon Musk and the amount of money he put into you getting to become the 47th president of the United States. The amount of money that you took from that old Zionist Miriam Adelson so that way they can annex, or not annex, so they can do what they're doing with Gaza, starving the people, blowing them up. Well, now they're not doing the blowing up. Now they're doing the famine. And all the other things that you got going on over there. And then you sitting there taking $400 million planes from a Qatari prince who allegedly has funded Hamas. So you are all against Hamas, but you don't got no problem taking money from somebody who's allegedly funding that money over to them. But you want to go in on Kamala Harris and allegedly her giving money to Beyonce, which Tina Knowles said Beyonce made no money from this. She wanted to come out and do it. They're not paying celebrities to show up at your campaigns. But sir, you was paying people to show up at your campaigns because they openly talked about it. Soldier Boy made money off of you. That old bleach blonde heifer over there that just wrapped up the season of American Idol, Carrie Underwears, Snoop Dogg, and the like. I'm sure Kid Rock got a coin out of you, out of you too. So every time when I notice this man goes and starts going off on his little tangents, when he points a finger at you, them other four are pointing back at himself and his administration. So always look at it that way. It's always a hit dog hollering in Trump's situation. So now he's going after artists, and now you want to put tariffs on movies. We don't even know how that's going to work. I don't even think they know how it's going to work. So he basically is urging Americans to fight back and F the people that make you scared amid his tumultuous second term. So speaking to a Variety magazine reporter at the press conference for Ari Aster's Eddington, which I believe he's in, by the way, Pascal, who is famously a staunch supporter of trans rights, said, F the people that make you scared and fight back. I would play the clip, but I don't know. That's like the property of Variety, and I don't want to get it flagged or whatever. So y'all just going to have to take my word. I did have the clip open. It was over on the TikTok. First of all, I was in love. I was like, well, y'all know how much I love me some Pedro Pascal. That man can do no more wrong in my eyes, but I can be transparent in situations. I'm not going to be biased. I try not to be when it comes to talking about celebrities. But I was like, this was the best I ever seen him look. Every picture that I saw of him at Con in this outfit particularly, I was like, was everything. And whoever the stylist was that put this together, great job. Because I always say, like, when it comes to fashion, always show off what your best asset will be. Clearly, it's his biceps. So you putting him in a sleeveless shirt with these long trousers, this is a total out, like, it's simple, but it's effective. And to me, this is the outfit I would wear on a red carpet or just out and about. Like on my way to brunch with some friends, I would wear this outfit. No hat. Like, you got to literally have the hair done and those other stuff. But this is because it's like you want to accentuate your assets. My assets for me also, well, some people say it's my behind or whatever, but or my legs, whatever the case is. But because I'm working out everything. But I always feel like my best features would be my biceps. I always get compliments about my arms and stuff when it comes to people. So I always try to use that as like when I'm wearing outfits, whether it's a shirt or a sleeveless shirt, a t-shirt or a sleeveless shirt, those are what I usually go with. So I kind of like this look on him. So he also said that this is a perfect way to do so in telling stories and don't let them win. So it's like, yeah, when people have to realize, like, a lot of times when it comes to, even in other countries, when the odds are against you, when you're dealing with fascist-ish regimes, like people who try to toe the line or dip their toe in fascism or whatever the case is, some of the best art comes out when we're in the times that we're in. When we were in the Bush administration, because I can't think far back beyond the Bush administration. I don't know. The Reagan administration was before my time. That was like, I was an infant when that whole situation was going on. But I do remember George W. Bush. That was like my era. So the George W. Bush era, the 2 Trump terms, whenever you deal with those terms and whenever the Republicans in power, that's usually like when the ish hits the fan. I'm not saying the Democrats ain't innocent, because y'all know we talk about both sides on this show when it comes to celebrity stuff and politics kind of intertwining. So when it usually comes down to the Republicans, whenever the ish hits the fan, that's usually when a lot of artists create their best work. Especially we use, for example, Madonna. When she created American Life, that was around the time of the Bush administration. And I believe Madam X came out, that was like during the Trump administration. So artists usually, when they come out, that's when they're most creative. And not only just in music, but in movies as well. So it's like, yeah, you use your art, be an artist, and tell the stories in that situation. I remember I heard somebody on social media say the dumbest thing, because Pedro Pascal was in Star Wars. Some people use Star Wars as an example because this is what they used. They said, oh, this is why I like Diego Luna, because he don't be out here talking about, and this was from this clip, what I read y'all, what he said. Somebody wrote in the comments, I don't remember I think it was on Variety's page. You get a lot of idiots that be in the comments over there too. And they said, oh, this is why I like Diego Luna, because he don't be out here talking politics. And I said, both men were in the Star Wars universe. Pedro from The Mandalorian and Diego from Andor. Star Wars is political. How are we not? How you trying to say like someone's not being political when you're in something that plays in politics? This is also what got me worried about. When you have David, no, not David Zaslav, Bob Iger. So about, we're not going to get too much into politics and stuff when it comes to the superhero movies or whatever, because the minute a couple of incels go speak up, apparently because they're so loud, excuse me, the studios get spooked and nervous. And I'm still like, dude, no, the comic books are political. Like, especially when you're talking about taking on the X-Men, which to me is the most diverse superhero franchise in comics. Not only comics, but if you're going to cross that over into movies or TV or whatever the case, because we have X-Men 97. But it's like, yeah, when you're dealing with that, it's like, yes. So you're going to DEI everything up in there, but you only going to have white folks? So what, Storm going to be a white African or an African? Like, is this what we doing? Because you can't sit up here and say that y'all not going to dip into politics when politics and art collide. It goes hand in hand. So when people say artists need to just be artists and don't be political, I'm like, y'all must be slow because y'all don't pay attention. If you listen to certain artists' music, if you watch certain films, if you look at paintings, if you look at like sculptures or whatever the case is, a lot of those, I'm not saying all of them, but some of them, well, I would say majority of them teeter on. There's art and politics that are they intertwine. So it's like, y'all just be looking at stuff, Even like when y'all watch movies or shows, where y'all don't be paying attention. Like y'all just sit there and look at the pretty little pictures on TV. Oh, look, the pictures are moving. Like that's what y'all be looking at. Like y'all don't really be focusing and paying attention that, yeah, if you really look deep within certain film, like The Matrix was political. It was a metaphor for what our world is, hence why people use, or me particularly, when I talk about people who live in the internet and are not just walking through life, not really paying attention to what all the other things that are happening, where you have politicians dismantling everything that we're doing. We're living in the Matrix. I said I choose to live in the real world. Yeah, I be up in the Matrix and seeing all this other stuff that's going on, but I'm unplugged from the Matrix. And I be telling you the stuff that's going on in the real world. So yeah, there are metaphors in those things. I just wish that there were so many more people that were intellectually, observant, where they would notice these things. Because that's where I come and I gotta point this shit out. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? What Pedro Pascal had to say on this whole matter? Whatever your thoughts are on this story, let me know in the comments down below. Right, let me see what the people are saying. Something tells me, look, I was so jealous the other day when I saw that picture of him and Alexander Skarsgård, hugging and kissing each other when they were at the Cannes Film Festival over that movie that Alexander Skarsgård's in, where he's playing like a gay guy who's in a BDSM relationship. And they said that he showed peen and everything in the movie, and they showed it and they got a standing ovation, and then he and them two embraced. I said, that should have been me. A bitch was jealous, but yeah, I wouldn't mind hugging. I wouldn't mind a mouth hug from Pedro. Let me stop being messy. They said depends on where you get the shirts. There's when it comes down to it, yeah, I'm very picky when it comes to that, because I'm like, depending on your body type, and I feel like that when it comes to guys, like if you work out or they make certain clothes, especially that I always feel like when it comes to like pants, like denim jeans or whatever the case is, they're not cut a certain way. So when you want things to accentuate your body, they really don't fit the way you want it to fit, especially like with a shirt. Like you want it to like hug the arms but feel loose and sort of like show the bulging chest and the arms look good, but if you feel like you're a little insecure in your stomach area and then you got a little extra meat and you don't want to expose, you want to have a shirt that kind of hides that. So they gotta, there's designs and stuff, and it's always hard. Like if you find a shirt or you be looking for a shirt that you want to hit all those sweet spots, it's hard to find those. But if y'all know some fan out, let me know. Me too. You and me too. I mean, you and me too. You and me both. Them biceps are bicepping. It was revealed over 1 million ballots had Lady Gaga, Nicki Minaj, and big Gen Z celebs. Wait, what are we talking about? Are you talking about for the Democrats? All right, y'all. Let's get into some homosexual news. So I ain't never heard of this person, but I saw that Gay Magazine posted it. So I was like, based on the subject matter, it was very it was something that I was like, okay, this is something that we need to entertain. So apparently there's this rapper by the name of BossMan DLow, which I'm like, child, the name kind of like outs you damn, on its own. But let's continue. So apparently, there's a rapper by the name of BossMan DLow. I guess he's like from some southern rapper or something, because I never heard of him, like I said. And apparently, he's responding to rumors because he allegedly, well, I don't know if we can say allegedly, because there were screenshots was actually posted on Gay Magazine's page. And they said that, yeah, that there was an OF content creator that he slid in the boy DMs trying to get some. And I guess what had happened was the OF content creator wanted monetary exchange for getting a little neck. And when the rapper was like, I just want to get some, the boy, being messy, decided to expose him on social media. So that's why we are where we are now. Now, they said according to Gay Magazine, they said Florida-bred rapper BossMan DLow has officially responded to the homosexual rumors and allegations that he was attempting to meet with a male OF creator. Now, OF creator Timmy Bansom, I don't know who that is either. I'm having my Mariah, I don't know her moment. Shared screenshots and messages of his interactions with the rapper online after BossMan DLow allegedly refused to pay him for sexual favors. BossMan took to his IG story and shared the following, saying, addressing and denying the allegations. He said, I ain't trying to beat nobody on the internet. I don't even play them games. Just keep ish in the streets when you decide you want to play with a real street ninja. So now we resorting to violence because we got this old hippie, this old dude on the left that looked like he got titties and ass. Like you look like you mid transition. That's what it's giving. That you still a boy, or you not a boy, not yet a woman. Like it's giving in between, very Britney Spears. So. But then he, I guess he was like, he liked what he saw. Like, well, I do see a lot of these boys out here with small waists and big old asses giving feminine body parts and things of that nature. And, some of these boys who are on the down low like that. And yes, it is true that we do have a lot of these, these masculine presenting guys from the hood that like to clap the cheeks of feminine men, also trans women. And we have a trans girl that was in the slide, because I'm going to play all of this for y'all so you can hear from a lot of these people. But with, so then that's what he wrote, BossMan DLow. That was his screenshot. And it said, all I got to say, new music on the way, new videos, new source, I'm coming. So he's promoting the music while also sending out threats. Now, this is what Timmy Bansom posted. A screenshot was like, yeah, BossMan DLow hit him up. Say the way he thought he was gonna link him for free is crazy. I'm gonna post the messages on my other page. And then it said, what's your real name? I ain't giving mine. You ain't give yours. And confusing how. Justin, my real name. Oh, Lord, so you is that shit is okay. Now I feel like I'm reading a bonus and my brain's starting to hurt and I'm already hungry. So I don't even know if I want to be sitting here reading all this mess. But for the most part, and it's like they're trying to find out who name is who, but I'm just sitting there like, who's the one? Oh, Timmy Bansom, I guess, is trying to find out. I guess the blue is BossMan DLow, and he's saying his name is Justin. But I don't know, is that his real name? Because like I said, like I'm having my Mariah Carey moment. I don't know her. So, and then posted in the screenshot at the bottom, it said, like he knew I was a boy. If I was a boy. And I guess they were kind of going back and forth. And Timmy was like, I'm just saying, you not genuine for real. You just about money. F a bond. You a real friend. Like, F a real friend, real vibe. All you talking about is linking up and having relations. And then it goes and say, you act like we can't pop out and be in a relationship though. And then it'll say, you started the conversation talking sexually. What am I supposed to be thinking? And then even showing a screenshot there said, babe, ain't nothing fake. He literally texted me the whole time I'm vanished mode and sent me his number. Well, I hope you ain't gonna put the number up there. And then it said, I would have kept it on the DLow if you didn't waste my time trying to get this Bansom throat for free. And that's my thing too. It's like, here's the thing. And this is what I don't like about a lot of you sissies and punks and some of you trans girls. If y'all going to do the whole hookup situation with somebody who's on the down low, first of all, number one, I ain't hooking up with nobody who still ain't come to terms that they like dick and ass. I ain't got no time to do it. I ain't got time to entertain these confused ass men who don't have the balls to be who the hell they are. So if y'all want to go out here and be that messy and hooking up with some of these men, then y'all go ahead and do that. But what I don't like about a lot of you sissies, punks, and trans girls, is that y'all do this whole back and forth with these people. They slide up in your DMs. And then when y'all don't get y'all way, when you want money out of somebody and you ain't getting the coin that you want to get, then you want to start doing the exposing. Then you want to put people on blast. And this is exactly why a lot of men that look like and act like a boss man DLow don't want to mess around with a lot of the femme queens and the trans girls, because the few of you spoil it for the rest of y'all. Because like I said, I don't hook up with nobody on the down low. I did that when I was younger, and I learned my damn lesson. I like myself a little too much to lower my standards to be putting up with some man who only want a little sloppy toppy or don't want you to throw it back. Or in my case, since I'm a top, they want to get their cheeks clapped. And then after the fact, they act like they don't know you. I ain't got time for that. Or when they around their friends and they see you in the street and they want to, hey man, you know, all the homophobic slurs, and you want to chime in because you don't want to give yourself away. Or when they go out the type, when you see this little queen at the bottom, where it's like, it comes down to it, y'all want to go and, you know, slide them in the back and then slip them out the back when you done. But you, they little secret. You're my little secret. That's how we should keep it. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me
That's why they
put
don't
the audio on so you can hear what the other girls are saying. Hold on. Let me go back.
fuck with us now. Bitch, you weird. That's weird as fuck. And if y'all know what the fuck I'm talking about, I'm gonna let y'all know right the fuck now. So basically, it's a motherfucking boy named Timmy Badsum. He's like a
boy
OF model, whatever they claim he is. He's basically like an explicit, you know, Instagram model from what I've seen. I guess BossMan DLow end up sliding in his DMs, letting him know that he's trying to get some throw. Mind you, this is allegedly. Don't say shit to me. The little punk knew that BossMan had money, so he was like, you ain't getting no throw unless you pay me. BossMan like, all you want is some fucking money. Mind you, this is allegedly. So the boy ended up getting mad because BossMan not trying to pay for that dirty ass throw, and just starts exposing all the fucking messages that are allegedly true. And I pray the messages you showed is true, because bitch, if it's not, bitch, it's over. And for that boy that exposed that rapper, that's why they don't fuck with us now. Bitch, you weird. That's weird. Did you hear about Boss?
See, now, I think I just found somebody messier than me. But anyway, let's continue.
BossMan
Yeah,
DLow?
but I don't care.
Well, he got exposed.
Why would I care about who another man's sleeping with? Is he still gonna sound like, yeah, saying, look up in the moon, baby, car ain't got no roof, baby? Is it still gonna sound like that?
Yeah, because that's his voice.
I'm gonna keep playing the music. I don't really, why would I care about who another man's?
Did you hear about BossMan DLow?
Yeah, but I don't care.
So now before we get to the next slides, you know what? I like people like him. Even, I don't know if it's, you know, like a little meme thing that they doing, or just like genuinely how he feel. But I really wish we had more dudes like this. Where it's like, okay, I like, so what? I don't care who he's sleeping with. And I feel like that's the new generation now. I mean, there's always going to be something that's going to be homophobic and act a real bussy mad ass about it. But for the most part, I always like the ones that's out here who are so secure in who they are and their sexuality. It's like, okay, so what? He like dudes, or he gets a little sloppy toppy from another dude. Like, I'ma still bump their music. Do they still sound the same? It's not changing who they are. It's just now that you know now that they like hooking up with men. Now, I don't know if he's gay or he might be bisexual, because he ain't come out and said it. He's still denying this stuff. But until he come out and reveal his own identity, then we could pursue this case. So until then, it's inconclusive, his sexual orientation. Now let's continue.
Please get it off. Oh my God. Bizarre. In lieu of BossMan DLow going viral for some gay shit, I just want to say, bitch, I'm not him. So for the vlogs and everybody posting me thinking that shit funny, bitch, no, it's not funny. Ho, it wasn't funny. in October 2024. But the fact that y'all resurfacing this video, posting me and thinking that it's him, I just want to say fuck all y'all. Again, y'all bitches weird as fuck. I oddly look like him in that fucking picture, but it's not him, okay? And the fact that y'all using that picture to justify him being quote-unquote gay or DL, y'all are obsessed with where people put their dick in their ass in their mouth.
It's in the nigga name. BossMan, DLow. DLow. Down low. But now
BossMan DLow done got exposed for being on the down low. Girl, bitch, he one of many, bitch. One of many. Most big boys get down though. That's from my understanding, from what I've seen. Bitch, most dudes that try to talk to me be big boys. Big boys, yeah. Yeah, he got exposed, baby. It's a lot more to get exposed. Bitch, he ain't the only one. He ain't the only one. Girl, you think they ain't freaking and yeah. Girls, if they a rapper, they don't mean shit. They still own it. They still own it, but they don't want nobody to look like me, baby. They want somebody they can sneak with. You see who DM he stood in? Yeah, a feminine boy. They don't want none of this. They don't want all this right here. No, man, to cause too much attention. See, they want somebody to wear that shot. They cause attention too. They really want somebody that can sneak in real quick and sneak out real quick. Bitch, I cause too much commotion. They gonna be looking. God damn, bitch, they gonna be looking same shit in prison. Same shit when I was in prison. BossMan DLow done got exposed.
Well, damn, I kind of want the rest of that story, girl. What you do to end up in prison? But anyway, let's move on.
BossMan DLow getting exposed for allegedly messing with that punk is pointless because now you didn't cut off your money supply. 2, ain't nobody gonna mess with you because they gonna look at you as if I cut him off, now he gonna have me up here too, exposing me. And then 3, when you gays expose these men for messing with y'all, when they cut you off or you get mad or something like that, that does nothing to help your community. BossMan DLow
Because say it again, but let's get to this last one because I was like the last slide. I was like, oh, who that? But hold on, let's slide over to the last one.
When I don't do the DLs, I don't know why y'all still do the DLs. I thought we left them way back then. But yeah, I don't do the DLs. So if you DL, stop trying to hit me up. I will never respond. I'm not jeopardizing nothing that I got going on to fuck with you because you can't live in your truth. I will never fear for my life because stop hitting me up. I'm good. When I don't do.
See, and you know the ones that look like him, them pretty ones. Oh, you know the boys be lining up to try to get with him because he's out here with the colorful hair. He light skin, got them pretty lips. The body is body, and it's like, well, we know the trade be trying to run behind this one. So shout out to him. Who is he? If y'all know who he is, fan out. Let me stop. But the previous guy, I totally agree with him on that whole situation. And I think a lot of y'all need to realize this. You trans girls and you sissies and you punks, you need to realize when y'all be out here trying to expose people thinking, oh yeah, it's going to give me this little temporary high and you're going to go viral and you're going to, oh, look, I'm exposing and you bringing attention. What you doing now is that, oh, you that ninja, because I'm just doing the speak of how they be going to speak in this situation. You that ninja that was out here exposing the girls. You was out here exposing the trade. So now that we know that you that person, we ain't effing with you. And now it's going to mess up your coins, which means now you still got to resort to, making what you make a month off OF because you could have had a band or 5. You could have had you a man that you was giving neck to and throwing it back on and getting a little monetary situation. But because if you want to be treated like a prostitute, I'm going to treat you like one. And that's why those are the ones that are the smart ones know how to play the game for the long run and not thinking temporary situation, thinking of what's in front of, but not thinking the long game as most smart folks do. But clearly you're not that bright, sir. So there you have it. I want to definitely hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story? I don't like nobody out here exposing people and outing people. I do not like that at all, unless they out here spewing homophobic stuff or being nasty or mean about. Now, if they out here doing that, but secretly you on the down low hunching dudes of the same gender or people of the same gender, then I'm exposing you. Because then that warrants, oh no, I got to call you out on your hypocrisy. So that's what I'm there for. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Hold on, let me see. You said DLow, that closet is made out of glass, and he's the last one in. It's, I guess, a D stat. Okay. It's a Connor Ives is where you buy. Oh. You said if you want the proceeds, go to trans folks. Oh, how I never heard of them? Let me put that in my notes. Damn, child, it's after 8 o'clock, but we almost done. We got one more story. Connor Ives t-shirts. Okay. I was like, yeah, I need to remember that because I will forget. But thank you. He said, I'm not here for out anybody, but how discreet are you if you reaching out to hello? Not only that, but I always thought that if you are on the down low, that normally you would try to hook up with somebody that kind of looks like you. So that way you could lie and say that's your boy, but he's really your boy. But and not a femme queen or a trans girl, because that would open yourself up to more questions. Like the one that we saw that looked like she was up in the Walmart. I don't know if it was Walmart. No, it wasn't Walmart. That was given like you was at the gas station in the little store that they have at the gas station. Like that's what that was given. So yeah, that's what I would have been thinking. That yeah, you don't want to draw attention to yourself. Now, if you're gonna hook up with a femme queen or a trans girl, you want to be caught. Outing is whack, but if the person is being anti-queer, yeah, exactly. That's my overall thoughts. Sometimes people expose just cause the cis girls expose too. They just get the luxury of not having queerness being a part of the. Oh, they the ones that get on my nerves too. So anybody that outs is a problem. The cis girls, the biological women, the trans girls, and the femme queens. Did she just get fillers her cheeks? Well, that's a lot of the trans girls that, they can't afford to go to like the real doctors and stuff. So they get that, they get that fix-a-flat put in their face and their ass. So, that's why where she went and got hers. So not fan out. Yes, fan out. I want to know the tea. Gaga has just now won a Sports Emmy Award, making her a Tony away from EGOT status. What's a Sports Emmy? I said she won for her performance of Hold My Hand at the pregame Super Bowl. Okay. If you DL, you could expose yourself to people who ain't gay going for those like you. Going to the queers is a safer bet. Yeah, I ain't hunching no damn OF model unless you're willing to collab with them. That's the only reason why you should be hitting them up. So going to some random dude instead of someone that's automatically going to ask you for some money. I was like, no ma'am. Okay, y'all. All right, so now let's get into our final topic, and let's talk about Colton Ford. So I don't know if you guys heard, but I'm sure you probably heard right now. But yeah, we have some sad news in the world of adult entertainment, and it's funny how I'm always bringing the bearer of bad news when it comes to adult entertainers passing away. But yeah, it is official. Colton Ford has passed away at the age of 62. So now, according to Chi the Rue, adult film icon and singer Colton Ford, whose real name was Glenn Sakusian, has passed away. Now, here's what adult filmmaker, DJ, and drag queen Chi the Rue posted on her Facebook page. She said, I'm so shocked and saddened to hear and report the sudden passing of my friend and icon, Glenn, aka Colton Ford. You will be missed. Keep singing in heaven. I want to see if there was any latest on it. But yeah, from what I heard, some people was in the comments and said, oh, Brian Bonds, I know him. He and I are friends. He said, what? No, I saw him at the gym the other week. We had been trying to plan to meet up. No, do pictures, F word. No, OMG, what happened? And then I guess somebody put Steel Gym. And so, yeah, everybody is in the comments pretty much shocked by the news. I think it was did they say something or another? It might have been a hiking accident. Some people were supposed to pictures of when they met. They said that they saw him many years ago at Providence, Rhode Island Pride. A lot of people were saying a lot of great comments about him. I remember when he used to date, oh my God, I forgot his last name, but it was Blake. And they did they did the documentary together. Well, he was in it, but it was a documentary on Colton. But yeah, let me give him his flowers before we continue. So Ford, has appeared in a dozen homosexual adult films, including Bearing Leather, Conquered, a film that earned him a 2002 Grammy Award for Best Group Sex Scene, Gangbang Cafe, that got him a 2003 nomination at the Gavian Awards for Best Performer, and his lead role in Colton, for which he ended up winning Gay Performer of the Year during the 2003 Gavian Awards. Now, in addition to performing in some of the hottest films for the biggest porn companies, he also appeared in non-porn projects such as The Lair, and I used to watch that show. That and oh my god, what was the other show that they had? We talked about it the other day too, and I just forgot. Dante's Cove. I used to watch Dante's Cove, and then they had the spinoff called The Lair. So he was in The Lair, The Next Best Thing with Madonna, Circuit, which I love that movie. That's like a gay circuit movie or whatever the case is. I remember I bought that I bought the DVD of that back in the day when I think that came out like 2003, one of those early 2000s, I'll say. And he also appeared in the horror film Hellbent, which I liked too, and a sequel to another gay movie called Another Gay Sequel, Gays Gone Wild. I love Another Gay Movie. Another Gay Sequel is all right, but I think what's the name was in that too? Brent Corrigan, right? Yeah, I think Brent Corrigan was in Another Gay Sequel. So Colton also had his own 2005 documentary called Naked Fame, which was directed by Christopher Long. The film follows his transition from the world of adult films to mainstream club dance music. It was released theatrically in 2005 in the United States and Canada. Now, speaking of music, he released 3 solo albums called Tug of War, Under the Covers, and The Way I Am, and had hit dance bops, including one of my favorites. I love the video. Marco Ovando directed it. It's called Let Me Live Again. If you have not seen it, I did link it in my on the article that I wrote, but also you could just go on YouTube and look up a lot of his songs and videos. You could definitely check out the videos and stuff there. He also has a song called That's Me, featuring Caswell, and a remake of Stevie Wonder's Signed, Sealed, Delivered, I'm Yours with Pepper Mache. He also made an appearance in Cyndi Lauper's music video for Into the Nightlife. Now, no word, as I stated earlier, what the cause of death was, but I did tell you that I did hear there was something like it was a hiking accident or something or another. But I'm definitely going to fan out and see if that is the official tissue confirmation, but that's what I'm hearing. So yeah, I was a fan of Colton Ford's. I liked a lot of his music. Really watch, I mean, I can't say I didn't really watch his porn, because I remember my friend Eric, whenever we would hang out at his house, we would watch a lot of, Falcon, Raging Stallion, a lot of stuff from that whole situation. Yeah, I'm telling my business, I don't care. But and funny enough, you know how like most people would watch adult films, and they would, I guess, with their friends, they would kind of start flogging the bishop. We never did that. We were sort of like the Siskel and Ebert of porn. Or remember the two judgmental puppets from the Muppets that would be up on the balcony, and they would be that would be us. I can't remember their name, but that would be us. We would sit there and watch the porn, and we would sit there and be critiquing the scenes and all that other stuff. That's what we did. Because we was like good Judies and stuff. So that's what we would do. It's funny how you watch porn and it's like, yeah, most people be getting off on it. No, we be sitting up there like we Siskel and Ebert judging. So yeah, shout out to Colton Ford. He will definitely be missed. Another icon in the business going like, we just talked about Tim Kruger passing away, and now we have this whole situation with losing Colton Ford. 2025 has just been a mess so far. But yeah, so shout out to him, condolence to his family, and condolences to all who knew him in the world of adult entertainment and beyond. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Were you saddened to hear that the icon in the porn and queer music industry, Colton Ford, has passed away? So whatever your thoughts are, let us know in the comments down below. All right, so let's see what the people are saying. Yeah, R.I.P. Honestly, happy to hear it wasn't steroids. Look, some people say steroids or meth, because those are usually like the cases, right? Are we talking about that other adult performer that I posted on here, where it was just like, Shadow was probably, you had a heart attack at 32. It was like, you was using steroids. I actually thought about using steroids, but I'm like, I don't want my liver being all messed up, and I'm not trying to have a heart attack. So no, I'd rather just go and do it the old fashioned way. He said his "Let Me Live Again" song. Yeah, that was like always one of my favorite songs from him in regards of like the music that he put out. And I love the video. And shout out to Marco Evando. One of my friends, Adam, was actually in a Marco Evando music video. So back when he was doing like the circuit modeling and all that other stuff, so he appeared in a couple of his videos. And I think it was like that was under the whole Peace Biscuit label, which Amanda Lepore was a part of, Castle was a part of, that sort of thing. So it was like Dallas still gave a lovely memoriam on Twitter. He also mentioned, oh yeah, that's what I said. It was like, I think there was a hiking trail that happened, and I think there was an accident that happened with that. So I think that's what happened. And shout out to Dallas Steele, who I know lives in Palm Springs. Was it? Oh wait, did I hear anything about? I don't think I heard anything about that. I may have to look that up. And you said, yeah, it's crazy. It feels unreal that he passed. I know I didn't believe it when I saw it earlier, when I saw the post from Shishi and when it was sent to me, actually. I'm constantly on the fence. I think a lot of us are, but yeah, I was like, I'm not risking my health for that. Just like I worry a little bit about when it comes to Ozempic and stuff. But yeah, did that. But yeah, shout out to you, sir. All right. So, all right, y'all. So we're now down to the end of the show. We're down to the wire. Finally, 3.5 hours in. Normally I've been keeping it good under 2 hours, but we've been having a lot of topics to talk about. So yeah. So I want to thank you all for tuning in to the latest episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. If you have not already, please hit that like button. If you have not, please hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. And also be sure to smash that notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Ma'am, I've seen you. You do not need no damn steroids. That body is hard as a rock. You don't need no steroids. The ass is acid. The waistline is snatched. You hit the gym hard, so you do not need any steroids. You're good the way you are. So, yeah, I'll be back on what's tomorrow? Wednesday, Thursday, because tomorrow it's the Knicks game, first game of they made it in Knicks and 6. So with everybody losing their mind, Timothy Chalamet and all of them, and seeing that in real time, and Bad Bunny, everybody all excited that the Knicks haven't made it this far since like the early 2000s. So it's been a minute, like 25 years. So it's gonna be a big game tomorrow, and I already know I'm gonna be dealing with a lot of craziness and pandemonium. Fingers crossed that the Knicks win. So I'll be busy with that, but I'll be back on Thursday with a brand new episode to Keke with y'all in the latest and celebrity news, hot topics, and all that good stuff. So love you all for watching. Thank you all for tuning in. And until next time, ciao, darlings. You're welcome. Excuse me. Let me go eat. I am starving.